Live in the 805 in Maryland. Gotta do my job. So we got Bat, Peaceful Dez. We
So I'm
had
gonna check
SJ
back
Cooks.
their stalls.
Some Daddy Dutch. Who else did I miss? The Moose, Hojo, Bat. I just said Bat. Oh, Simon Duel. Yeah, he got cold feet. He left. He left us.
I told the chat, I think he's mad. We said no drinking or cursing.
What's up, NBL? Duel. No rules. Yeah, no rules exactly.
New rules. No, we have no rules. We try to keep it a
What up,
little
babe?
clean. I will say that
I call bullshit when Simon said that.
yeah.
That was awesome. We're doing that a game, right?
Ding ding
We're
ding
doing the
ding ding.
giveaway, and he goes, "I call bullshit."
I think you're right.
Simon. Sal, she'll be back pretty soon. He was fiddling with his laptop or something like that, right?
Yeah,
The last time we seen him.
putting a hat on his head. What's up, Dutch?
What's
I
up,
said it a
Daddy
little
Dutch?
earlier, so I'm not sure you saw that or not.
What happened?
Krista V, I see Dutch saying hello specifically. I was
Oh,
wondering, man, we can't every time we
Christy.
every time I just don't know whether he can see me or not when I reply to him or leave a comment or something. So.
You going
Congrats
live
on the
during the
walk
eclipse?
yesterday, Dutch. I think your son-in-law
Oh, there he is. There he
may have
is.
been a little hurt.
Well, you want to introduce Sal since he's down in the basement?
Who this? Who that? Who that?
Does anybody know Sal from SJ Cooks? Let me present you the other Mexican, one of the other Mexicans.
What's up? Other Mexican here.
Other Mexicans.
Reporting for duty.
Simon's the other Mexican. Sounds like the other Mexican.
He said, "What happened to Sal?" Or Sal? I said, "I don't know, man. We started talking about rules and stuff, and he just poof disappeared."
so it's just so stupid, right? Like you guys could relate to all these technical issues and trying to get this mic working, and I'm
Yeah,
struggling to get it working, and then the thing is unplugged. So I'm like, oh well, that's why it doesn't work. At first I thought it was StreamYard, but it's just my stupid ass forgot to connect it. So I think we're good now, right?
Forgot to plug it up.
We're plugged in and we should be good.
Mexican.
But yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, chat.
Start with the first question. Are you Mexican?
That's one of Sal's followers, Raul.
Oh,
Hey, what's up, bro?
Isn't he like a
editor
editor or something like that? He does like editing work or something.
He has his own videography business that he has. He lives actually pretty close. He lives in Orange County.
I told him in Orange County. Wow.
Yeah, I told him as soon as I start getting any decent amount of income, I'm going to hire him as a videographer because I mean his stuff is really good, and it's I'm always like I think that's going to be my next step is if I have the funds for that, like if my channel ever starts producing a decent amount of money, I'm gonna hire somebody to film just because it's such a pain in the ass,
Yeah. There's a couple channels out there that do that, and it's just I don't know, man. It's like if it's something that they do, they're automatically clicking. We should be doing this. We should be doing this. Dang, we forgot to do this. We forgot to do this.
Yeah.
Until it's an afterthought, or then it's like, shit, I'm all done. I'm all wrapped up, and I forgot to do this, and I didn't do that.
Yeah, and I just gave you a good example, right? Like my mic wasn't working, and that's just like, well, why isn't it working? You're trying to figure it out, and meanwhile, we go live and my mic's not working. So I did this whole thing, restarting the computer, did all of this other shit, and then it's just the mic that wasn't plugged in. I know, rookie mistake.
Stay in your lane. You tell your jokes, I'll tell mine. So, Sal, did you take your vitamins today?
I did.
Good.
Yeah.
Rookie move. See, he's already calling you out. Rookie move.
Yeah, exactly. It's just doesn't matter how. I think it doesn't matter how long you do this stuff. I think it's just, you have to. There's just so much to check. There's just so many things to mess up in.
Yeah.
When you're filming, but
that's one good thing. I just keep it stupid.
Yeah, and I try. I try, Lance. I try to keep it as simple as possible, because the moment I start complicating things, like I'm just not going to want to do it. If I have to lug in a ton of light and a bunch of video equipment outside, I'm probably not going to film, because I just get lazy. So I'm trying to just keep it as simple as possible,
So true. It is. I got one thing. I'm not even sure. I think it was TPC that recommended this. Mousonth. MOSO.
Oh, yeah. He's the one who gave us the tip on the camera.
TPC gave us a tip on that thing. It's a camera and mic.
Yeah, it's perfect.
With a shade. It's even got built-in lights, too, if I wanted to use the lights. $40. All I do is put that thing in a USB and say go.
They're just not big.
Get up my way. I got balls.
MBL, you want to drop Primo's link there? So if you guys don't know Sal, you guys can subscribe to him. He has an outstanding channel.
Yeah, Sal, you want to introduce yourself? You might be a little in a different neighborhood today.
Different neighborhood.
That's a good one. In a different neighborhood. I like that.
Yeah, we all get lazy. Just go with the phone at this point. Yeah. Much easier to just use your phone.
Different barrio.
Yeah, I definitely agree with with
Daddy Dutch.
Oh, they're getting at it already. I heard something about balls earlier, and he said, I'm reading one now, normally in your throat. I assume it's in the same conversation.
Different barrio. That's all right.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Those two, I'll tell you what. Just keep in mind, there's children watching.
Is there? Oh, crap. Good thing you told me this.
Where?
Do we have children, or do we have adults acting like children?
Yeah. All the above. All the above. So that saying I picked that. I don't know. What's up, Lep? I don't know where I picked that saying up. It says, don't grow up. It's a trap. That is so true.
Thanks, Peaceful Des.
Thank you, Des.
What's up, Devil Dog?
Oh, Dee Dee's here too? Yep, Devil Dog. What's up, Eddie?
Oh, thank you.
You're good, Christy. You're good, honey. You're good. Man. Don't worry about it.
Primo, you're on a roll, man. Your fingers are just you're on it.
You know what? I got the mouse in my hands, bro. So that's why. There it is, guys. There's his link. There's his MBL. Te ganaron, bro. Te ganaron today, bro.
MBL's having computer troubles again.
Oh no.
I think he was on, CJ's, and he just disappeared. Came back towards the end saying something about his computer rebooted or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that computer talk.
Bam, there. Okay, I pinned the link, guys. I pinned the link. Therefore,
thanks, guys.
Everybody can subscribe. Sleeper's a 65-year-old child. I
am, man. First one admit it. First one admit it.
Everybody saying
I have or want to buy more.
My comp is that. Oh, you're good. You're good, MBL. That bonus might get smaller though.
He ain't got the first one yet.
I know. We talked about it though, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did talk about it. That's right. He
talked
told
about his
CJ, he
bonus.
said, my computer doesn't know how to act. I'm being nice to Lance tonight.
Yeah,
What's up, Scotty?
NBL and I are usually
Scotty.
the ones with the old people jokes, right? Right, Lance?
Shit, devil
NBL,
baby.
everybody. But it honestly, it doesn't bother me. I told someone the other day, I said, you know what? I said,
So Scotty,
you know, if it makes everybody laugh, then it's a good time. And if it's a good time,
I asked you.
Back.
I'm the one who asked you. Like I think I texted you or something. I just want to make sure this is cool because I could stop. You know what I mean? It was one of those days where I was just like just back to back, you know. And I was like, I also don't want to, you know, because I think for a lot of people it gets tiring.
Just space them out a little bit so I can read them all. You know, when you start throwing them all at me at once, sometimes I don't get to read them all.
Yeah. I was just making sure, you know, it's all I wouldn't be making jokes to somebody that I didn't like, you know what I mean, or that disliked me, because that's just going to cause problems, you know what I mean. So I know that like the reason I joke around with you is because I know you're gonna laugh about it, and me and you are cool, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. Oh, that's one of them words. Ooh-ah. Ooh-ah.
Hoorah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for saying that right.
That's was it grotto? The ooh-ah. Ooh-ah. NBL is teaching me Spanish.
Yeah,
it's from the Corazon.
Yeah.
Corazon. What's up, Guggen?
What's up, Guggen?
He turned me onto this channel. It's called West Coast. It's just Gringo. He said it reminds him of the Gringo and Mexican Live. It's a Gringo that wanted to move near the Mexicans and be more involved into their culture and stuff.
Yeah.
He gets invited to their houses, to their homes for parillas, whatever they're cooking, and drinking and partying. It's called West Coast, I think it is. Grito, yes, Grito. You're right. I got it spelled Grito. That's my cheat sheet notes over here. If you see me looking at something, there you go, Sal again.
Oh, there it is.
Do you remember the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin? That was based on Lance's senior year.
Technical problems everywhere.
Un grito? Yeah, Lance, you should do a grito.
Grito.
What that caused that?
A grito, a Mexican holler. What's up,
Aua.
D digits?
Well, that's it, right? Isn't that aua?
Yeah, you gotta say it with
Huh?
You gotta say it with ganas. Give Sal a few drinks. He might show us how to do it.
Let's see, camera. I gotta see him.
Aua.
Start cam.
The eye.
All right, I'm back, I guess.
Grito.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Chris? Chris, I learned something. I learned something the other day, and I'm not gonna. You know where coriander comes from, Chris?
Why is it doing it?
I don't know. What the hell are you tearing apart?
Oh, there it is.
See, this is like really frustrating.
Chat's moving fast.
What are the topics tonight? The topics are
SJ Cooks.
SJ Cooks.
What you can cook on the 26-inch Weber.
But he apparently is tearing things up right now.
Right.
That does, Lance.
The topic
Chris,
is
your question. Coriander seeds.
Just not like my ugly face, my ugly mug. All right, here we go.
Coriander comes from the ship.
What's wrong with your fucking face and your mug?
I'm arguing with the camera. I'm like, do you just not like my ugly mug, or what's going on?
This is good, bro. This is good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, okay. Ahua. That is the grito. And there he goes again. He's gone.
His stuff
Hey,
got
now,
disconnected,
Chris,
bro.
coriander seeds come from the cilantro plant. When a cilantro plant goes in the seed, that's coriander seeds. Just learned that. Yeah, Lance Christie is right. It's not like the car horn. Ahuga. What's up, Ross?
What's up, Russ? Wow. That's a grito. Oh, you're right. You're right.
There he is. Man, I think we waste our money on this guest, Sal or George.
Huh?
I think we waste our money on this guest.
Oh, it did it again. Why? All right. Why is it doing it? It doesn't
Don't
like
worry,
me.
this is all part of that, guys.
This is all part of the show, guys. Hold on.
Es parte del show. Oh, they say that?
This was all rehearsed. This was all rehearsed.
E-Raw.
All right, let's try this again.
You like trains? Can you weld?
The first question.
First question.
How are you and George related?
We are. We're primos.
Yeah. That's MBL's first question.
It wasn't. We are. We're primos. I was in the neighborhood on Friday.
Where's Sal?
Yeah, it was rainy and it was sunny, rainy and sunny. I had a field day over there on Friday.
What's up, Barbecue Mike?
What's up, Mike?
Man, I had a door open in here all day today, and I can see bugs and mosquitoes flying around already.
Sucks, babes.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
First question.
Alun, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Luna? ¿Qué hubo, carnal?
Hey, we need a replacement for Sal, Al. Are you up for it?
Like, where's Waldo? What's that, Loverboy?
I said, hey, Al, we need a replacement for Sal. Are you up to it?
Yeah. other Mexican.
Here.
Second question.
Oh, we lost them again.
Why the fascination with parchment?
Just
paper?
finished dinner video. Sweet.
So you have ever
been
our
cousins
in prison?
How is mom?
What's wrong? Is it's his monitor or something? I was his mic.
Not sure. Not sure. Second question. Why the what? It was a paper. Órale. That's a good question, Simon. Right there. The parchment paper. Remember when he said that?
Yeah, like,
how can that even work?
Contrary to what Kent says, not all Mexicans look alike, Lance.
I've been tricked this person. Yeah, I'm behind on the comments.
Yeah. Tell Sal
to move fast today. We usually don't move this fast.
I can't see what's in there. My phone's about ready to die. I got 15% battery.
Welcome, SJ Cooks.
Hey! All right, and we're live, right? This is take 17.
To reboot everything. I think you got it.
That's what I did.
What's up, Rich?
What's up, hermano? Hugo.
Enough of playing around. Let's get serious.
Hey, did you guys see this video, Rick's video with all the tools? Man, he does some pretty badass tools. Sal, have you seen this video with the tools?
No.
Run the Weber.
Is that a recent
video, bro? It's good tools for the Webers for sure.
Is that a recent one?
Yeah.
It looks like a Slim Jim for like breaking into cars and stuff.
Driving but listening. Yeah, but check it out when you have a chance.
Yeah, I'll
Or can someone drop Rick's video, his last video, I think it was. The link, por favor.
Appreciate what George is doing. Smash. Rick, I can't believe anyone would refer to Chris as a stewardess.
Yeah, these videos with the interviews will stay up on my channel.
The
other ones I
interviews
just
do
delete
stay
them.
live. Oh shit! Glad you said that.
All right, Simon, cuídate.
Now I got quiet as heck in here.
Can't believe anyone would refer to Chris as stewardess. Hello.
Sal, do you use meat tenderizer when you beat your meat?
No,
I picked the wrong day to stop drinking.
That's a great question, Russ. That's a great question. Pick the wrong day this time.
Do you like Greco? Oh, I gotta take this.
Later.
This is
Okay.
a family-friendly show.
Do you go for the question? Let's see here. To the milkman, no more cheese. Ya se calmaron, ya se calmaron. Yeah, the tools are awesome. Yeah, you got to check it out, Primo.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. I'm kind of looking in the background and trying not to
George,
just to see what you guys are talking about.
Interviews posted on your channel. You can edit out Lance. We might have to. We might have to. So how are you, Primo? How's Inglewood doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It finally, this is the first, I think this is the first weekend where we went without rain. It was actually, the sun came out and everything, but it's still windy. I don't know how it is over on your area.
I was
but
there
it was
Saturday. I was there Saturday in LA County.
Yeah,
It was raining on and off.
yeah, that's
A little bit sparks, but it was early in the morning. It was raining pretty hard.
yeah. It rained on Friday, but it was just windy. It's been windy yesterday, today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you got to be careful when you're grilling when it's that windy, you know, because your temperatures spike up quick. But,
yeah. You're welcome, Rick. For sure.
So Eddie wants to know if you're leaving your interviews live, and if so, can you edit me out?
I said maybe.
You're already down that far. I'm just catching up. That was a buddy of mine. I'm supposed to go out of state with him tomorrow, just over to Virginia line, go into Virginia and help him pick up a boat and trailer. I told him I would help him, and he never got back to me to say if it was for sure tomorrow or Tuesday. So it's a definite for tomorrow.
All right. Who has the first question?
First question.
Hold on. Let's back up. Let Sal introduce himself.
Hi, my name is.
What's up, guys? My name's Sal. If you're not familiar with my channel, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on OnlyFans. OnlyFans is the only one making money at the moment, thanks to my only subscriber, Lance.
I knew something was happening here.
But yeah, check out my channel. I cook mainly on a kettle. That's my main cooker. I've got different kinds of kettles, but the 22 is the bulk of my videos so far. But recently got that 26, and I think I'm gonna be cooking a lot more on that 26. I think it's my new favorite Weber.
I can cross that question off. Thanks, Sal.
So yeah, it's I've cooked my last video. I cooked a bunch of chicken thighs. So just the size, the amount of food you could fit on that thing is just it blew my mind. I knew it was a big grill, but 22 versus 26 doesn't seem like a big difference. It's 4 inches.
Yeah,
I know 4 inches is average, but when it comes to the square space, if you want to do a little if you want to do a little math, then that's when the square space on that, on square inches, grill space on that is you could fit a lot of food. So I'm gonna be doing a lot. I think my next couple of videos, I'm gonna just show you how much you could cook on it and how much space you can get. I know it's a very specialty item because a lot of people don't cook that much food. You know, if it's just you and the wife, you know, it's you're not gonna cook a ton of food on it, you know. But if you like to host parties, it's definitely the cooker to get, especially if it's your first Weber.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, you know, spend the big bucks on a huge offset or a huge, you know, pellet cooker or whatever grill exists out there with a lot more grilling space. I think the 26 is pretty good. I'm a fan.
So, Mike,
I know I kind of stopped talking by myself and just started talking about my grill, but that's usually what it leads into, right?
well, no, well, I was going to. My
count, man.
question was to talk about that 26-inch Weber, but you sort of really touched base on it
Yeah.
already. I guess there is a couple other things that I had a question, George. If you don't mind, it's your live. I'm just.
No, you go. You do whatever you want, man.
I'm just a gringo.
Tú
So, I mean,
pregunta lo que
when you're
preguntas.
cooking proteins, has that cook time slowed down for you versus the 22?
No, it's
Really?
it's the same thing. It is just it performs really well. I got the SNS insert specifically made for the 26. So they call it the SNS XL, I believe. So it it performed very similar. Like my cooking times are around the same. Yes, it uses more charcoal because it's a bigger grill, but that 12-hour brisket that I did, I filled it up. I filled up the SNS insert and I didn't have to refill it at all. So it went for the full 12 hours. So, and there was still plenty more to go for a couple more hours. So that part was impressive because I guess on the 22, I do have to refill, usually around the 5 or 6 hour mark. I have to add a little bit more charcoal to get me through, get through it. So that's the only thing that's different. It performs really well. It locks in temperatures really well. Like I said, it maybe the brisket you could probably make an argument that the brisket or whatever meat you got in there, since it's got the space around it, it probably cooks a little bit better. You could cook that brisket that I cooked, that 17-pound brisket on the 22-inch Weber kettle, but things are really tight. So
Right.
maybe the airflow is not as good.
Right.
That's one could make the argument that that's probably
So that's the microwave effect, right? So we're saying
yeah.
that. So it's probably more. What's up, digits? More of a microwave effect. But what about coming up to temp?
No, I haven't noticed any difference. The only thing that I've been starting with a little bit more charcoal to begin with, but other than that, it like I said, it gets up to temperature quickly, and it locks it in. So I'm not, except for my very first cook that I did it because I was still wondering what the adjustments that I had to make. But once
Right.
once you tinker a little bit, it does require tinkering. That's why these kettles aren't ovens. They're not. You don't just set your temperature and you could just go to sleep. You do have to go in there, especially when it's windy. You have to go in there and kind of adjust and make sure that temperatures don't get too low or too high on you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of the fun, right? Just going out
Right.
there and
Exactly.
just enjoying the day and just having a couple of drinks and just not babysitting it, because it doesn't require like constant adjustments, but just being out there, giving you an excuse to be out there next to your
Right.
grill. It's always good times.
No, I guess I
Yeah.
just assume with it being more metal, but then your baskets are larger, so you're holding more fuel. So,
Yeah.
that's sort of compensating for the
Yeah.
difference in,
Yeah.
the metal, the surrounding
Yeah.
metal. But George, back to you.
Oh man. What made you? I know you're not from Inglewood. What made you come all the way over here from the Bay?
I always wanted to move down to LA. So I've been here for since 2010. So I've always wanted to move down here, and it was just one of those things where the opportunity came up. A good friend of mine from high school was living here, so I basically there was no excuse. I had a place to stay, so I moved down here thinking I'm gonna hate LA and move back to the Bay Area. That's originally where I'm from,
Yeah.
but I liked it. I think the weather is really what what convinced me to stay a little longer. The weather is really awesome here.
Yeah. The
The
weather
Bay
is
Area,
totally.
it's still California, but it gets a little much more chilly up there, and
Yeah.
it's not
Absolutely.
as we don't get as many sunny days up there. So the weather kind of convinced me to stay for a little longer, and now just meeting my wife, meeting Annie, I'm kind of locked in here now. There is no going back. She's
Nice.
uh she's an LA native. She's lived here. She grew up here. So it's me convincing her to go up to the Bay Area. It's going to be very, very difficult, just because she's lived here. That's all she knows, and I have no problem with it either. Now that we're married, I'm fine being here in
You
LA.
got your family here. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the initial plan is getting my parents. I believe I talked to you, Jorge, about it, where I was just like, I
Yeah.
don't. We're only 6 hours away from my parents, but it becomes, I don't want to say a burden, but sometimes it like just every little thing as my parents get older, they require a little bit more attention for me to, check up on them, and
Mhm.
I can't be driving, anytime they need something over there.
Right.
Unless it's something super important, I'll fly, or I'll drive. It's 6 hour drive, but I think now as they get older, they're going to require a little bit more attention. So we want to make that move of bringing them down here to LA, and having them as close as possible. If it means a 20-minute drive, that's better than 6 hours.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my next thing with my family is bringing my parents. The rest of my family, I got cousins and my aunt and uncle up there. They're fine over there. They've established their life up there. I'm not going to convince them to move to LA. But my
Right.
parents, I think it's an easier move. They're both, they're elderly. They don't have any, there's no job responsibilities. There's no, none of that stuff. So I think it makes sense,
Yeah.
to bring them down here.
So would you like? I mean, I guess it turned into let's ask personal questions about Al, but or Sal. But so I mean, would you move them in, or are you talking about getting another place
I mean,
for them?
but they need their own space. I think we all do, right? Maybe at the beginning, it makes more sense for them to be under the same roof, just to move them down here and just start looking for a place more calmly to
Yeah.
get them to move into their own place, because I think they need their own space.
Yeah.
I need my own space.
Yeah. No,
I think it's
exactly.
just, but I
Exactly.
wouldn't mind having them, momentarily bringing them all in, just to be, get them all acquainted. And because I don't know if you ever guys have to move, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, because you have to like look for doctors, you have to do all of these things, like these little changes and stuff. So it's not as easy as just coming down here and then that's it. You have to get reacquainted with your surroundings. My
Right.
dad, he's a little bit more stubborn. He doesn't, because the Bay is all he knows. My mom is more in agreement to move down here, just because she loves me. She wants to be close to me. But my dad is a little bit more stubborn, so it's going to require a little bit more talking through it, to try to
The more
convince them.
convincing.
And
Maybe after he gets older.
yeah,
Guggen's got a question for you. What is your dream smoker slash grill?
I think the 26-inch was my dream grill. I got a video coming up. It's kind of, I joked around in a couple of comments on my last video, but I do have a video coming up where it's going to be kind of a love letter to the 26-inch Weber, because that was my dream grill. That's the one I wanted, but I got the 22 first, so the 22-inch was my very first grill, but I didn't hate it enough to get rid of it and get the 26. So it was one of those things. So now the 26 presented itself, used and at a really good price, and I couldn't help but take it. So that was my dream grill. That's the grill that kind of, the grill that got away back in high school. You know what I mean? That's how it felt, and it but as far as just like, I'll give you a real answer, like I would have at some point want an offset. There's so many that I've been, thinking about, but it's just the expense is what keeps me away from it. So at some point that'll be my the grill to get would probably be an offset. So if that, maybe that's a better answer, right, than the 26. Maybe that's people would want to. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but
Yeah, you gotta make love to your pits every now and then. You gotta treat them good, bro.
Smoke holes need loving too,
Yeah, they do. Oh man.
So I'll take the next one here. The picture you sent me, because we had a conversation about CJ, Mom and Papa Joe had talked about. I talked about getting the Gabby attachment, and I just can't bring myself to buy this Gabby attachment. I think it's just it's another toy, is what I have myself convinced with, because when I sit there and I think about it, it would be cool, to have it. I'm sure there's differences that I'm not thinking of, but I really feel like I'm really can duplicate a lot of that stuff with with my Weber kettle. And I talked about, CJ had talked about, and I actually looked at them, was a second grate that actually had the fold out legs on it, where you could actually, spin and actually do a little bit more direct cooking without being right on top of the flame. And then you had sent me that picture of the those three concrete blocks that you stole next door and put on your grill.
No, yeah, and I know you talked about that last time, and I said, hey, you don't, and I'm gonna be talking because I did make a video about that. It turned into, I wanted, because I cook ribs that way. I didn't send you a picture for that, but I cook ribs using that method, and it was going to be about the ribs, but then it kind of turned into, well, let me not cook it on the Santa Maria grill, because that was initially my plan, was to cook it on the Santa Maria grill. But I was like, let's go back in time before my Santa Maria grill, because I'm thinking there's a lot of people out there without that Gabby's attachment, and how would they do it? And that's kind of the that's where that came from, that idea. And then I know you talked about it, and so I wanted to make that video, and even when I finish editing it, I think it's going to be more about the method of doing it versus the actual rib cook, because although the ribs came out fantastic, my wife said these are her most favorite ribs. And that's like a high praise, when you hear that from, from a loved one. So that was a huge deal, and they were delicious. But I want to aim it more towards the method. And I will tell you, Lance, it's, spoiler alert, it's a pain in the ass. It's hard to. It's very easy to topple over, so you have to be super careful. And then it's hard to feed the fire, and unless you dial in that temperature, where if it's too hot, then you have to let it die down a little bit. There's no way to raise it. As your fire is burning down, there's no way to lower it down. Unless you take the whole thing apart, and it'll save you money. It'll give you a taste of how to do it, and then maybe it'll convince you, like, oh, I love the flavor profile I'm getting. So maybe it is time for me to invest in an attachment, whatever manufacturer it is. I think there's Titan, and there's another one out there besides the Gabby's.
The Titan, your buddy, I can never remember his name. Ruben.
Yeah.
He had both. He had the Gabby and the Titan, and I think the Titan blows, the other one away as far as just different features. I'm not,
Yeah.
I obviously have not cooked with either of them, but just some of the features that the Titan had, it's like, man,
Yeah.
I wish the Gabby would have that. It would be.
Yeah. The and we talked about it. I think he might have mentioned it on his live, where it's the turning thing, the way to the locking mechanism is it's a little bit antiquated, to be honest with you. I love the guy. That's why it's a very thin line, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm down on the Gabby's Girls, because I absolutely love it. It
Exactly.
it I feel like you could produce some great results, but yeah, maybe me and Ruben talked about it. It's like, oh yeah, maybe it is time for an update. Like, I don't know how long he's been doing it, but maybe, and I don't know if it's possible too, because I don't know how his way of fabricating it might just he might have that method locked down. We're introducing a new gear for the turning, or a new locking mechanism. Might just be it it might just be too expensive for him to implement. Like, we don't know any of those details,
Yeah.
but I think, if there is a way, then maybe, if he ever releases a Gabby's version 2, I would pick one up.
Well, that's
With just an updated, look, an updated, turning mechanism, I would pick one up and I would keep both.
that,
That's $300 here. You know?
yeah, yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
I was just thinking too. It's like, would it, as you said, Gabby too, would it in not I don't want to say reinvent it, but would it re-spark the interest,
Yeah,
and to people that were on the fence before? It's like, wow,
yeah,
look, this is a new upgrade version. I
yeah,
gotta get this,
yeah. And I think
because there's
a lot of us that are owners, I haven't seen I don't want to turn this into a Gabby's Grill,
yeah,
talk, but I would say that, if I think the majority of us, again, I don't have info to back this up, but I think the majority of us that have the Gabby's Grill attachment are 100% happy with it.
oh
We
yeah,
love how it performs. We love the food that's coming out of it. And
yeah,
Jorge, I know you have one. You could, chime in whether whether you like yours. I think it's fantastic as it is. But yeah, you would wonder what a version 2 would look like. And if there's even a market for it too, because he also has to make money off of it. And if he's going to invest all of this money on research and development for version 2, and it doesn't sell and he loses money, I also don't want to see him, struggle that just because he's listening to people like us saying that we
right,
need a version 2. Version 1 might work for him
right,
longer term.
right, right. Well, and the old rule, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's only he knows. He knows the details. He knows how much money he's making. I mean, who's to say he probably is researching, developing, just new ways to make it better, or maybe he decided not to implement those things because of the expense. Only he knows. We could only just speculate.
Right.
But yeah, Lance, you should definitely give that method a try of just raising your grate, and then doing a couple cooks on there, and see how you like it. I think you will enjoy it. Just having a real wood fire underneath there, you're definitely gonna taste the difference. You know,
Yeah, no,
it,
I
it
think I'm going to stick with the grate with the fold out legs on it.
yeah,
I see it being more stable because I was wondering, what you had said about as far as being stable or not. When I
yeah,
saw the picture, I was like, man, what happens if
yeah,
you want to spin the grate, or can you close the lid, the dome on it even? And
no,
I'm like, the grate with the fold out legs on it, is something that you can, pick up and move.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
all together. It's not four separate pieces, But so
absolutely, yeah.
we can move
Uh,
on, George. 805.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I did cook tripas like that with the wood slits. I think oh, you know what I did? I was trying to remember the video. Yeah, when I cook the tripas, I usually boil them in their own juice, and then
Yeah,
it renders its fat and it just fries it in its own fat. But I wanted to try something a little different. and that was directly on the fire,
Yeah.
which it cut the time in literally in half. Tripas take
Hmm.
a long time to cook,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this cut the time in half. Like,
Yeah.
and they were good. They were super good. You can
Hmm.
taste the oak wood in the tripa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything
That's
live fire, it's gonna elevate your food 100%.
yeah. Yeah. I like to say, you guys could correct me if I'm, Jorge, because you have experience with it, but with the flavor profile, I would almost describe it as going from a charcoal grill, whatever that grill is, to an offset
Yeah,
is the same as going from a charcoal grill, to a Santa Maria's grill, because you're cooking over, you get more of that wood flavor.
yeah,
And I think that's, one is barbecue low and slow and one is hot and fast. So, big difference between the two, but I think the flavor profile, that's the jump that I think you get, because you're, the actual, you can play around with different woods too, so you could definitely taste it. And I
yeah.
think
That's
that,
one thing I haven't done is mess around with different woods.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a good question for you, for all of us, I should say. I know I got mine.
What's the biggest cooking fail you've ever had?
I talked about this, I think, on one of my lives, but it was this chicken. This is before YouTube, and I wish I was doing YouTube because it would have made for a really funny video. But I picked up a recipe, a rub recipe online, except I misread the ingredients. I thought it was a third teaspoon of brown sugar or something. I ended up adding 3 tablespoons of brown sugar,
Right.
and I rubbed it down. I took. It's funny. I wish I had a picture of it, because I was, man, I was so proud of this chicken. I was like, I'm gonna rub it down with this, homemade rub. I'm gonna put little aluminum on the tip, so they, the tips of the wings don't burn. The tip of the legs, so they all stay. It's gonna be a perfect color all the way around. It's gonna be beautiful. And then 45 minutes later, the whole thing is just super dark, and that thing is just completely just, it looks like a charcoal, and my wife is just laughing hysterically. She saw this thing and she's just laughing. She's just like, did you ruin it? I'm like, I'm sure if I take the skin off, the meat is fine, but yeah, it's nothing to look at. So
Yeah,
and the meat was good. Like, it wasn't, it's just the skin, because
yeah,
too much sugar just causes it to burn and you get that really bad taste. But the
right.
actual meat, we just peeled out the skin off, and the
Yeah,
meat was good. But yeah, that's so, yeah. Advice, if you're ever writing down a recipe especially online, you got to really be careful, because, you go from, something that'll taste really good to something that's just not, it's not going to turn out good. So that's
yeah,
the lesson I learned there, is just be very careful with, especially rub recipes, with that sugar, because it'll burn.
yeah. Well, you know what? you can you can do the cook. You can just have a really low heat, right, Sal? If you can add
Ye-
all that sugar, you can do a really low heat,
Yeah.
and you can still get it looking cherry.
Yeah, like something like, ribs. Obviously, the
Yeah,
rub on the sugar on those rubs for, cooking ribs or stuff like that, low and slow. It has a lot of sugar, but I was cooking high. I was
yeah.
cooking
Oh,
chicken. I
yeah.
wanted that skin to be crispy.
You gotta close up that sugar bubbling and shit.
Yeah, you know what? It looked like that rib that you reheated for
Oh,
April Fools.
I actually
Look at,
tasted a
look at
little
that
bit of
bark,
it.
Yeah.
It
guys.
was
Look at that
horrible.
bark. Conk, 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 conk. Look at that bark. Conk, conk, conk. I'm like,
That was a
we are
good one.
seeing two different things here. I said, he's really trying to sell this one. Go on, George, try a little
you could
harder.
you could hear it too. It's like it's like beef jerky.
I got half of you guys. I got because I on the comments I got half of you guys.
Yeah.
Well, the one comment underneath me is that, what did he say? Something about,
Chicharrón.
yeah, rib
Yeah.
chicharrones. And I'd start laughing. I said, so it wasn't just me then. It wasn't just me.
But here's
I
one
cook.
thing that I used to do though. For maybe you've seen or know people that do this, Jorge. But when I'm cooking carne asada, once you eat your plate and everything. You know how most of us just kind of gather around the fire because it's just that dying, fire. You usually throw an elote in there to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
cook it. But what I used to do is just take over. I was full at this point. I would grab a little bit of that carne asada and just put it on the grill and let it just basically just dehydrate it. It just dried out. It got super crispy, and I used to love eating that. Like you just bite. It was just super, just like crunchy, and it was like I loved the taste of that. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
that was my grandfather. He would do that all the time after we all
Yeah,
ate. Yeah, he would. Yeah, I know exactly what you're
yeah.
talking about.
It's like you're not really reheating it. You're just turning it into charcoal at that point. But
Frying
it's
the shit out of it.
yeah.
Well, you know what? You could put tortillas on there and make them like chips, right? Just
Yeah.
leave the tortilla on there and then the chip, and you flip
Yeah,
it.
that's the other thing too. Just put
Oh,
in a
yeah,
tortilla there and just
yeah.
it turns into a tostada,
It turns
basically.
into a tostada for sure. What's your fail, Lance? You want to share your fail? Guggen shared his.
I sort of kind of was almost in the lines of him. I thought I was going to make a peach cobbler egg roll, and it was a total fail. I mean, it was just you tried to pick it up, your fingers went through the egg roll wrap. I didn't use fresh peaches. I thought I could make it work by going using a peach and canned peach in the syrup.
Yeah.
So that was already the biggest mistake right from the beginning was using that because it was just too wet. I mean, it was just a big soggy mess, and I don't know how many people like when they bite into their sandwich, there's a big old wet mushy spot on it. Well, that's sort of kind of what it was biting into that egg roll. And I can't stand it. I can't stand that big wet piece of white bread. I was like, God, I can't stand that. But that's what that egg roll was like. But and I never did revisit that, and I wanted to because I've had them before, and I thought they were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, carne seca. That's what it was called. Mine was easy, guys. When I first got my canca, I freaking put a spiral ham on that bad boy, and it was spinning pretty good for the first 5-10 minutes. And you could walk away from it, And I was watching TV. It was a hot day, and when I came back, the ham was in the pit on fire, bro. The damn thing fell off the canca, and I was like, I just pulled it out. I was like, I'm not recording this video.
Just dust it off a little bit.
I didn't even dust it off. I was just like, it's gone. It's done, man. That was a fail. One of my fails, I should say.
You got any more questions, George?
I do. So tell me, what is your favorite barbecue to go to, and what's your favorite Mexican dish?
So, my favorite Mexican dish is easy. They're enchiladas. All right, that's anytime I go to a new restaurant, that's what I order because if they could make my enchiladas the way I like them, and if their salsa is on point, because I love salsas and chips are the number one thing. You're digging in there. I'm judging them on their salsa and on their enchiladas.
Pero son de carne o de pollo or de queso?
So I like the shredded beef kind.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, my mouth is watering just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But if you could, cook down a chuck roast, smoke it, and then pull the hell out of it, and then add it to your enchiladas, that tastes it's on another level.
Oh. Yeah.
But I prefer it shredded just because that's what I grew up with. My mom knew that was my favorite thing, so that she tried to make it on birthdays or just whenever. She knew that I would pile on my plate with a bunch of enchiladas as soon as I knew she was making them. So that's one of the things, and still today, anytime I go to a Mexican restaurant, that's one of the things that I'll order. Or enchiladas. Yeah.
Red or green salsa on your enchilada?
Red. Red, but I will say the enchiladas divorciadas. Are you familiar with those?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's when they mix in that green and red.
Oh
So
yeah.
they're called the divorced enchiladas because I guess they're separated by the sauce.
Separated. Yeah, that's a
But
stupid name, but yeah.
yeah, if you ever go to a Mexican restaurant and they have that on the menu, definitely get the enchiladas divorciadas because you get that green sauce and then that red sauce
Yeah.
all in one plate, and it's good. Even your burritos, a lot of them. I don't know
Yeah,
if you like those wet style mojado burritos, but they
mhm.
also started doing that. They started, putting half red sauce and half green sauce on a
Yeah, there's a
burrito, and that.
restaurant down here down the street, El Pescador, and they do divorced eggs, and they're
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
on
yeah. They
fire.
also do that with chilaquiles. They do that
Yeah.
with eggs. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. And as far as my favorite barbecue spot, I think Heritage right now. It's a little far, but Heritage Barbecue is really really good. It's San Capistrano. I also like Moose. Moose is really good.
Yeah.
I really want to go over to the Smoke Queen because I tried. They have a little every week, every Sunday they have a little like a food thing in downtown, and that's where I first tried out her barbecue, and it was really good. Her brisket is on point. But now I've heard that she started up a new brick and mortar over in Orange County, so I'm kind of looking forward to trying that out to see if you know. But yeah,
What
so I would
about
say
sorry, what about Ray's Barbecue in Huntington Beach? Beach, have you been there?
I've never been there. I've never been to Ray's.
Yeah, he's pretty good,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try that. I know it's on my radar. I have like a list of
Yeah.
spots that I wanna check out, and I think that's one of them. But Ray's okay.
Yeah. Well, Ray passed. He unfortunately he passed, but his sons
Okay.
are running the show. So
Yeah, and used to be a big fan when I first moved down here. I tried Bloodsoe's
he's pretty
barbecue over
good.
here in Compton, and it was fantastic. That place is just that brisket was just amazing. But they he's not in charge of the cooking anymore, and I think there's a Hollywood North Hollywood location. I think there might be
Yeah,
two.
it's off La Brea.
Yeah, it's not that good. It's not the
Yeah, that's the one I
the
went to.
the peak was the one in their Compton location. If you could get out there, because it was a little dangerous. You were in the hood when it had that glass, that bulletproof glass that you're taking the order. You knew you were in a rough neighborhood, and yeah, that neighborhood is rough, but the barbecue was worth getting shot at. I'll tell you that.
Shit, all of LA is like that. What are you talking about? Great question. All right, lover boy.
So whatever happened to the S&S kettle? I mean, it seems like it's not been in the radar lately.
Yeah, it still is, Lance. I was gonna get rid of my 22 Weber and keep my SNS because it's redundant, right? At that point, why do you need Sal? Why do you need two 22-inch kettles? Like it's redundant. Especially now with the 26, there's even less of a place for it. But I was gonna get rid of the 22 Weber and keep the SNS because I think it's still a much better experience in my opinion than the 22. And I know I got a lot of flack from people, with my comparison video, and I'm not sure why because it's my opinion. I just think I wasn't speaking because I'm an affiliate with SNS Grills. It's truthfully, I really do enjoy cooking on that. I love the little added features on it. I prefer it's a much more fun cooker to use. So I think it's gonna definitely gonna. I my last video was 2 videos ago, and I cooked that on that. The the screen grab that I show you with that modification that was also on the SNS grill. That picture I showed you, Lance, yesterday. So
Yeah.
it's definitely getting some work done.
Where is he?
My 22 is being kept because of that rotisserie, because that rotisserie cooking is next level stuff, and that unfortunately that rotisserie attachment that I got for my Weber does not fit on the SNS. Like I have to buy another one, and I kind of don't want to go that route, because it's just another expense.
What's the difference? Just rolled edges, or
the difference? It just doesn't fit. It won't, like, the thing is just, it doesn't sit right. So I guess I could modify it if I were a little bit more skilled. I could probably, cut the edges so that it sits, perfectly on it. But I don't know. That's just, it doesn't seem. I don't know. It seems like I'm too lazy to look into it more.
Yeah, I have not seen this new Weber Sherwood. Oh, you know what? I think
I
I
haven't
did.
either.
No.
Did I see a picture with it? But I don't know. But I sort of kind of remember seeing something in one of the lives. But I was almost thinking that was a pellet Weber.
Oh, really?
George,
Yes, sir.
back to you.
Let's see here. What made you start your YouTube channel, Sal?
That's a very good question.
Oh, sure. My questions
So
are stupid.
Hey, you pass it over back to me, bro.
The short answer is I wanted a place so that I could, anytime a friend or relative were to ask me how to make something, I could just be the lazy way, because I would constantly always be on the phone giving people instructions like, oh yeah, put this on the ribs, or this is how I do my caldo de pollo, or just random recipes like that. People would ask me, and I figured that would be a good way to kind of share quickly, like, this is how I make my ribs. Just, I'm giving you details how to do it from beginning to end. And if that's kind of the short answer. But the longer answer, and it's a little bit more personal, it's, I lost my father at a very, very young age. I was about 13. And one of the things that stuck with me is I don't know if he was a good cook or not. So that's something I don't want my kids to go through. Like, I want them, if they are interested, I want to cook how my old man cooked ribs. At least there's YouTube where they could check it out and do it, and they could actually see whether dad was a good cook or not. They could try see for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's kind of like very morbid. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people just thinking about, what if something were to happen to me, and this and that. But that is the longer kind of personal answer. So I didn't want that. My dad didn't keep a cookbook with him, or maybe if YouTube was around, I would know, like, how he cooked his dishes, because I honestly don't remember if he was a cook or not. So that was one of those things where that's what sparked my initial thought of just creating a channel to begin with. And somewhere along those lines, it turned into, oh, you know what? This is actually kind of fun. Like, I want to continue doing this. So now it's a little bit more than just being lazy and sharing it out to friends. Now it's all about, like, what other creative stuff can I do and can show off, and that's my goal, is just to continue giving people kind of a look, at my backyard, and see how I cook. And it's, whether you like it or you don't, at least you could, it's, there's enough audience maybe that will enjoy how I do things and that will stick around. But it's not to the point where I worry too much about it. I don't know if that kind of rambling there, but that is the answer. Okay.
I wish I could say I don't worry much about it. I just hate failure, and that's just sort of kind of what keeps in the back of your head. You didn't make it happen. You didn't make it happen. You said you could. You said you could. But I'm sort of the same way, same difference. I wanted to create a channel to where my children and grandchildren could look back and see Papa after I'm gone, and cook, maybe hopefully cook something like Papa used to make, type thing. So
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's I tell you, I think you'd be surprised how many people. What's up, Boo? I think you'd be surprised how many people actually do YouTube videos for the same exact reason.
Yeah. I've actually I belong to this Facebook group where it's basically for food content creators, and I've heard that a few times where they've, I'm getting to that age where I want to kind of leave something, and one of the responses I said I also want to leave something behind because I think my family was never good at having a cookbook, writing down a cookbook and then passing it along. My family, a lot of our recipes, I don't want them to be lost, so this is my way to keep a recipe book that can be passed on. What better way to show that off? Yes, a written book is great and all with the instructions, but actually visually seeing someone do it is probably worth just a little bit more,
Yeah.
so I think there's value to it. If there's no value to people outside of my family and my friend circle of them being interested in how I cook, at least, there's somebody will enjoy it, I would think.
Yeah. Whenever this topic comes up, I always go back to Ricky Food, and when I watched him and his grandmother cook together, ceviche, it was the one that sticks into my head because it's like, even at this second, my mouth is trying to start salivating because of watching them make that. But I just think that's so awesome. I mean, that's history.
Yeah.
That's generation beside generations.
Yeah.
And getting together and creating the same recipe.
Yeah.
I don't have, that's something that'll never happen with me. All my grandparents were gone way before, I was even a teenager, so, just seeing that is just something that's really cool. And it means a lot, it means a lot.
Yeah, definitely. That's why my mole recipe, I was really trying, and I explained it there. I was really trying to dial in my mom's recipe, and my mom got it from my grandma, and my grandma got it from her mom. So it's one of those things where I'm still trying to replicate that, that family recipe, because it's very difficult for me to try to reproduce what my mom does because she doesn't have an ingredient list. She just puts stuff in there, and if it doesn't taste right, she knows exactly what to add. So I filmed her a few times, and I'm trying to recreate it, but there's something, it doesn't always come out the same. I feel I'm close. I'm getting closer, but I think it's at a certain point I'm gonna have it dialed in, and now it's gonna get passed on. That's at least that's what I'm hoping. Is no one's gonna wonder if, hey, was this close enough to grandma's mole recipe? How far off is this? And if they're not around to make it for them, then there's no way of them knowing what it tasted like. So that's what I'm trying to slowly take these recipes, especially mole, because it's so, I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's definitely a process.
Back to Loverboy.
My turn. So some of these things might even be a little redundant now, but the lives, I mean, and I think you and I talked about this just a week or two ago. It's sort of like your lives, you just sort of kind of got away from a little bit, although you did. What's up, Uncle Steve? Although you did test I knew the other day you had a test on a live or something Friday afternoon. But is that, are the lives going to return? You were trying a Saturday afternoon thing, I think, for a while, and
so the past month and a half, I've been working long hours. So as as I've explained to you guys, and Wednesday nights are the only time I could do it. The weekends are usually reserved for for family stuff and just running my errands. Just we all live busy lives during the week, so the weekends is usually to catch up on sleep and just catch up on all the different things that we need to do. So Wednesday nights were the only ones, but I was working crazy hours, whereas that's probably the last thing that was on my mind. So posted on my community page, just letting everyone know, like, hey, I'm coming back. I'm busy, and I threw the idea of like maybe Saturdays afternoons would work, but it went back down to just there's a lot going on in the past month where Saturdays, even Saturday, we're not, you know, readily available for me.
Right.
So now things have died down. Last week was very, very chill. That's why I was able to jump on in the middle of the day on Friday and just give people an update and then test out this new laptop because I really wanted to test to see how well it did lives on it. And I love it so far. And that's how I was also able to jump on Al Lunacy's live because that's 5 o'clock. That's still pretty early on my side, but we made it work. And I think coming next week I'm going to start doing it on Wednesdays, if preferably with a guest. If not, I'll go solo in there and just keep it rolling. Right now the live, I like to do the lives just because it gives me one, it gives people more content. So a lot of people, I try to keep the topics there a little interesting. You might not be into all the topics I'll talk about, but at some point I'm hoping that it'll get some, like, it'll run on their feed. It's like, oh, he's talking about hanging barbecue ribs on this hour live. I'm gonna check it out. I got a little bit of time to burn, see what this Sal guy has to say about it. I'm hoping the search it will help me get more exposure, but I honestly want to do it just to get better in front of the camera, because I feel when I first started on this, I was lousy at it, and I think lives kind of helped. It helped me get more comfortable. It helped me get more, just show who I am a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think I need to practice. I'm not perfect right now, but I think the worst thing I could do is stop doing these lives, because I feel like once you start, if you're not good at something and if you stop practicing, then you'll never get good at it. So that's my goal with these lives. And at a certain point, I love talking to, bringing on a guest or something, and talking about a subject that's always good
Yeah.
to talk about, because I love talking to different people like we're doing here, because we all have our ways to cook stuff, and it's also a cool place to hang out, right? Like
Right.
somebody I know, I don't know if it was Russ who said it, but why go to a bar when you could just cook up a brisket, get drunk, and then like me, and then show up to Simon's live all hammered. And
Well, I think it's. I mean,
I mean, I would rather do that than go out to a physical bar and get in trouble out there, drive drunk, like I'd
yeah,
rather just do it here,
spend a shit ton of money and come home, wake up next morning with a headache and an empty wallet. But I've seen you like that twice, and I gotta say, you know, that's a Sal that I can be comfortable with. And I'm not being mean or anything, but the other Sal, it's like, man, can I joke with him? He's really being serious right now. Is he just kidding? You know,
Yeah.
is he really that stiff, man? Have a
Yeah.
drink.
So,
That's the
so
But that's twice I've seen you like that, and I got to tell you, you're a
yeah,
blast. You're a
that
blast.
yeah, that to me is the real, like, I don't want to say the real me, but it's more like that's usually my personality most of the time. I like to joke around and laugh and just make stupid comments and that stuff, but my personality is in such a way where I have my highs and lows. And sometimes you could see that when I'm on the live, where I'm just like really amped up and I'm like talkative and I'm, talking all this stuff and just being, making jokes and everything. And then my level just goes down and I'm just like, yeah, so, I'm back to the monotone kind of like, because that's how my personality is. It's like there's dips and rises on it. And people, and that's how I am in real life with people. But my family knows better than, oh, he's not upset or he's not sad. That's just how Sal is. Like he'll just make jokes, and then the next moment I'm just silent and more reserved and quiet and things like that. But that's just how I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And on my lives, I think it stands out more because hopefully it doesn't like make people think like you, Lance, that I'm like, that comment or something that I read on the chat like upset me, because I have like really, really thick skin. So there's really nothing anybody could say to like offend me. And
Right.
And if they do, then I'm not gonna lash out at them, or I'm not gonna give them the cold shoulder. I'm just, I'm
There's
I'm
just
I'm
many,
okay with
many
it. I just
miles. There's many
yeah,
miles between us,
yeah,
and you really don't know a person. Then I've seen two different people, and I was like, really? So, which is the real Sal? But
yeah,
um, I mean, I think that you, uh, do sort of kind of, take it serious. I mean,
yeah.
it's not just all fun and games.
Hmm.
It's something that you want to make work, and you got to work
Yeah.
hard at it to make it work.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is, and that's like that is part of my personality. I have my highs and lows, even in the middle of a conversation. So the people that don't know me, they assume like, oh shit, that like Sal got pissed off, or what, did I say something? They start like second guessing themselves. But no, that's just me. I have this like really high moments where I'm, laughing and joking and then making jokes, and then the next moment I'm just like, down because I'm just collecting my thoughts, or I'm thinking something else. but but yeah, and I think in the being on the live, you could particularly see that, because he says, "Oh, he was like with a bunch of energy, he's making jokes at the beginning, and then towards the end of it, I'm just like I'm more serious. I just kind of, not making as many jokes. So it is what it is. But
Yeah.
it's not because I'm pissed off or anything.
George,
Yes. Oh,
you got anything else?
yeah. Let me just share this quick picture that Alex Barbecue Pit Vatos, he ordered Uncle Steve's rub.
Ooh, nice.
That
Yeah.
color, man, that color pops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Looks
happy
like
birthday to
candy.
your wife, Alex. Yeah, that's
Looks
from
like
Alex.
candy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love I love that color from Steve. The what do you call it? The magic
Magic
rib.
Rib. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm done with the questions. Unless you got
Oh,
more, boy.
I've got at least 11 more questions.
I got some. I don't know if you could tell there, but Raul sent that one.
It's,
Blurry.
when you get
35.
closer, it's a little blurry.
There you
There it
go.
There you
is.
go.
So some good. That's
Woo!
Raul send me that. Looks really good, Raul. Nice
Yeah.
Yeah,
job.
it does.
Hey, send me that right now.
Uncle Steve saying he needs that pick.
It's gonna
805.
cost. Hey, Uncle Steve, it's gonna cost you another rib, another
Another
bottle.
rib rub.
I'm playing.
There you go.
Oh yeah, there it is.
That was
Yeah,
mine.
that color, man. That color pops, man.
Yeah.
That was a Magic Rib today.
Yeah,
They turned out great.
yeah.
That
Yeah, looks like
I
candy.
wanted to order
Yeah.
a 4 or 5 pound bag actually when I start selling barbecue. That's what um that's what I plan to use anyways.
Yeah, it'd be easier.
I'll send it to you right now, Steve.
So, uh, what's new and upcoming, Sal?
So I do have a review. Well, it's not going to be a review. I do have a monument grill that I need to cook on and put out a video. So there's going to be 2 videos for that coming up. I also have that rib video that I showed you, that little modified way to raise your grates rib. And I do have even another rib video. I know I'm all about the rib videos for some reason, but that's what's in the immediate future. I've got a ham video, which is kind of a weird time to be cooking a ham, but I think I want to just cook it and probably release it a little bit closer to the holidays. See how that works out. I missed my deadline to release it before the Easter, because my one ham video did really, really well during Easter. A lot of people are looking up at that recipe, so highly recommend that if you're a content creator, you should definitely make ham videos, because it's one of those things that will get watched during Easter and the holidays. So I got that coming up, cook wise. And again, I'm returning on my lives, so hopefully that'll, that I'll be more on top of it as far as that. But other than that, I still got that Weber 26-inch mini review that I'm going to do just to give my thoughts. For anybody wondering whether the 26-inch is good for them or the 22, they're having trouble decide, or they're trying to figure out what their first grill is going to be. That's another video that I'm working on. And I'm saying working on because it's gonna be mostly, it's what I'm trying to collect is the B-roll, right? I'm trying to cook as much on it, film it, and then when it comes time to making that review, I'll have all of this food content to kind of place over the video versus a standard, this is how you cook ribs on a 26, So that's also upcoming. And other than that, it's lots of ideas in as far as cooking wise, and all of that is would likely to change at any given moment, because sometimes if I want to do a carne asada video, but then I look at the meat at the market, it's not really good, but I see this great sale on chuck roast, then I'll probably make a chuck roast video. So all of that is kind of, it's not set in stone, I guess is what I'm saying. But lots of ideas, but those are my main ones that are coming up. And the other thing that I really want to do, get back on it, and someone mentioned that on one of my comments, I really want to start cooking on that Weber Smoky Mountain again. That's one of the cookers that I absolutely love, but it's not getting a lot of love on my channel, and there's no reason why. I still love it. So hopefully,
Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, the Weber Smoky Mountain 22. And so hopefully my goal is maybe to have 3 or 4 cooks on that this year. So figuring out what to cook on, I'm still trying to decide, but I don't want to neglect any of my cookers.
So play off that same question. I thought of another part 2 of it as I was writing my list up. I've got like 16 questions. But one of them is that, you've cut back from 2 videos a week to 1 video. Yeah. Have you noticed any difference from that? And maybe you sort of kind of, well, the Smoky Mountain wouldn't have done that, but I mean, have you noticed a difference in that and viewers, followers, and do you plan on going back to 2 videos a week?
So I doubled down on 1 video a week because I was getting, like, the holidays were great for my channel. It got me my 4K watch hours. It got me a lot of subs. 3 of my videos took off. I was on a roll since September of last year into the holidays, and then January hit around, which is a constant thing that's been happening on my channel since I started. Januaries aren't really good months for my channel. Maybe it's the weather that people aren't grilling. Makes total sense. But I am back to a video every 2 weeks. That was my initial schedule that I thought was going to be easy enough to handle.
Maintain
one video a week was too hard for me last year when I first tried it. I stressed too much about it. But I did it for the holidays. I say I could put up doing it October, November, December, maybe January, if I could. 3-4 months of just trying to go back to back every week and having a video. But back to my normal once every 2 weeks. And as far as it really didn't really have a huge impact going to 1 video every 2 weeks. It like I said, January came around and I started getting less and less views. Now it seems like the weather's getting nicer again, so videos are picking up. Right now, one video that has completely taken off and it's getting me a lot of subs is not even a barbecue video, which is like one of the things that I really wasn't hoping that would happen, but it's getting me a ton of views, and I can't argue with that, right? Thankfully, maybe I need to come up with a follow-up to that video just to keep it going. But we'll see what happens in the summer.
So branding?
I'm gonna jump around because George does have a bed call because he's got to get up early in the mornings and go do a job where I don't. So I'm going to hit a couple things. One, just out of curiosity, it popped in my head last night. Don't ask me why, but whatever happened to the kitten that that got Annie? Annie had to go to the doctors for and all that. Is the kitten still around, or was the kitten a meal one night or something?
No. So that was a crazy story, right? We just got through. The cat is now 4 months. No, 6 months.
Oh, I wasn't asked that too, but the cat.
It's 6 months old now. So the cat immediately, I told my wife we can't keep a cat. But right when we're trying to figure out how to get rid of this cat by taking him to shelters, all the shelters said, "Oh, you need to make an appointment," and before we could accept it. And obviously, we had to pay for the all of the vaccines and all that stuff. So you can't just keep a cat. If you're gonna keep a cat before giving it away, you can't just keep it around unvaccinated. So
Right.
that was one of the things that we did. Luckily, around the time we were thinking of handing it off to a shelter, my sister-in-law jumped in and said, "How dare you even think about getting rid of this cat? I'll take the cat." And she took the cat with the expectations that we would get it at some point, but I don't think that's happening just because nothing's changed on our end. I still don't want a cat at the
Right.
house. But now even try to take that cat away from my sister-in-law is near
Right.
impossible. I don't think she's going
Right.
to give up that cat. So she loves
Huh.
it. It's taken care of. It's in a good home. Anytime we go visit, the cat is pretty awesome cat. It's not like, still a
Right.
kitten, but it's not, it's clean. It does what it needs to do, So that's what happened with the cat. The
What
cat is
name
Yeah.
did
still.
you? What name did you give it?
So my sister-in-law named it. She named it Skylar.
Skylar.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how is it that I'm sorry, George, you getting ready to say something?
No,
Okay.
sir.
How is it that editing, to me, I mean, when I watch you, and I don't want to say cats love long one-way rides. So, Mr. Garvey, uh,
What's
so
up,
it
Tom?
seems to me, in my opinion, that it just seems like you have this this knack for editing. And I
Yeah.
mean, how is it so easy for you? Is this something that you had was part of your career before, or maybe current career?
Yeah.
Why is it so easy for you? And
Mm.
I'm still struggling with the same shit 2 years ago. You know,
So
Shit.
so editing for me, it it's you're probably not going to believe this, but I'll tell you anyways. So I used to be very meticulous about my edits when I first started the channel. You could kind of see that. I would spend hours upon hours to make sure a sequence is just perfect. Everything was good, and I would go back and really fine tune the audio and tweak the transitions and treat the color. And I used to spend hours. I kid you not. And at a certain point, I realized that all the extra effort is not really doing anything. It's not growing my channel by anything. I'm just wasting time. Instead of putting out a video a month, I could try to put out a video every 2 weeks if it meant less editing. And a lot of it, I really got good at my workflow. So I spend way, way, way less time now, but I feel like my editing has gotten better. And I really can't wrap my head around where it might happen. Maybe it's just YouTube is new, so you have to kind of realize what you need to film and how to put it together and all that stuff. And maybe at time it comes easier. But that's one of the things that I noticed is now that I'm spending, 3 or 4 hours on a video, I feel like the editing is a little bit better than when I was spending weeks editing a video. And people still, show up there and comment. You know, the production value is really high, and it, you know, it's a big compliment for me, because that's kind of what I was trying to do.
Right.
But
No.
yes, so that, you know, I do have an editing background, so that right there will tell you that I have experience
I'm
editing.
beating myself
and
up all this time.
and the other thing too that I will say is that um I try not to, it's YouTube is a different beast, and I don't think that's helped me at all. You know, it definitely given me the eye to see what works and what doesn't, but it hasn't really helped me. And I think YouTube is such a strange thing where it's you could spend an entire year editing a video, and it doesn't mean you're gonna get the views.
Right.
So I'm at a point where I I just do it as quickly as I can, and as long as it looks good upon viewing, you know. And my eye is very critical, so I would notice things that are a little bit off. But I'm not going to kick myself if I do a typo. I'm not going to take a video down and re-export it and bring it back up. But Final Cut, I was the software that I use, completely new to me when I started YouTube. But I did start an iMovie, editing a bunch of vacation videos. So I think that's where I got that YouTube style, I think, down, because we would film, go on vacation, and then I'd come home and then just edit and just make it flashy and make it YouTube-ish. I guess that's the word. But that's the lowdown on me.
Okay. I thought, I'm not taking anything away from you. What's up, Tom? I'm not taking anything away from you at all, because I see characters in you, and I think that there's, you're a smart person. I see that in a lot of people. There's another one in the chat right now. I mean, Randy is another one. I think this dude's got a head on his shoulder. He's just super intelligent. But if to see him walking towards you with his boots on and his overalls is like, what fucking barn did he just fall out of? But the dude is just super smart, super
Yeah.
smart. And I feel the same way about you. I think you're just, incredibly intelligent person.
Y estás bien guapo.
The camera didn't think so earlier. It kept turning off on me.
The other thing was, we all really sort of kind of met each other. The other thing was we all sort of kind of met each other, really, or got to know each other deeply with the barbecue cook-off that Smoking Joe had started.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think this question has been asked of you before, but I'll ask it again because I don't know if the audience is the same or different from what it was before. But
Yeah.
what happens if there's a part 2 or series 2, second season? Is Sal going to be in it, or is Sal like, the first was enough?
The first was enough. It didn't, as much as I would like to think that it did stuff for my channel. I don't think it did. I think if anything, it just stressed me out because I had now had to put a video out super quick. Because if you remember that beginning part of that contest, I wasn't even supposed to be in it. Someone dropped out. They needed someone to jump in and go against Marcus, and it was just spur of the moment type of thing. Where now I think I had like a less than a week to cook a brisket. Now, if you know how long it used to take me back then to edit a video, that to me was just super tight. So it was super stressful to get that thing out. Luckily, it was 4th of July weekend, so I quickly, I was gonna have a brisket anyways for 4th of July, so that worked out. But I think the level of stress is a little bit too much. Even though it was supposed to be fun, that was the intention. Let's make this fun. It was still stressful, and I don't wanna do that anymore. And the second reason too is I didn't agree with the way that it was judged. I think it wasn't the right way to do it. But
Mhm.
again, I don't have any control of how it's run or how it's people vote on it. But
Yeah.
I think if I were to jump on something like that again, the rules would have to change. They would have to be
Yeah.
different. And then right now I feel like it wouldn't do anything for my channel, but maybe if a year from now or whenever that idea pops up again, maybe I'll have a better idea whether I should do it or not. But right now my gut instinct is saying no, not really interested in
Well,
doing
your
that
channel's
again.
growing. Maybe you could host it, and then all of us other guys could feed off you because your channel's really taken off. And I think
Yeah.
that's all in the effort that you're putting into your editing of your videos. It just clearly
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think my man, I Ruben is the one who said, he told me that, hey, you're, like you being in that contest, it was kind of it was a good thing. I don't want to like say, I hate talking really high of myself. I have very low self-esteem, so even saying this is I'm struggling saying it. But he said something along the lines of like, this contest needed someone, a content creator like you, to just be like, hey, I'm professional. I'm my production value is very high. My editing is good, and my cooking is really good, and I'm very creative. That chicken cook was, I think, was one of the most creative things that I've done on my channel. So it like that I was at the peak of creativity, and that's very hard to do, just be, as you guys know, well, except for you, Lance, because you are super creative with your cooking. But for the
no,
rest of us,
but the dude
it's
sitting
hard.
beside me, I'm sorry, Sal, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the dude sitting beside me is the one that I knew I had to bring it, and I
Yeah.
just again, it goes back to, I don't want to lose something because I felt like I didn't really try, or I
Yeah.
didn't try hard enough. But losing something and then it's and you tried your hardest, that sort of kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I agree. You're absolutely right. Absolutely
Yeah.
right. I think all
It's
that. Go ahead.
the yeah, the creativity is really difficult, and I felt like, that it definitely, you everybody brought it. So if I were to say anything about anything positive about that contest was, one, I love seeing everyone bring it, because I don't think everybody took that seriously. Like no
Yeah.
one was going to lay down for anybody on that contest. Like everybody was bringing it.
Right.
Everyone was I wasn't the only one bringing my A game. Everybody else is bringing in their creativity
Right.
and bringing it hard. And
Right.
the second thing I think that I loved about it was all of us getting closer. Because I
Right.
mean, I still talk to you guys. I still, most of the people that participating in it, I'm still, I hit them up on Instagram, like Marcus. We're still cool, and Trumpet Master, and um, you know you guys, obviously. I'm still, still keep up with you, and Joe, Gorilla Joe. We always constantly hitting up each other on Instagram. So that's one positive thing that I absolutely love, is we all got a little bit closer, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because of
Agreed.
that. So I think it gave me exposure to some channels that, again, I was interested in watching and want to support. So if
So,
if if it ever comes up again, another contest, I would have to see like, oh, maybe I'm just gonna do it just to get introduced more channels, and maybe get close to some of them, you know.
well, I'll be honest with you, and George is probably going to say, "What the hell are you doing, Lance?" But I'm just going to say it. And George and I had actually entertained the idea of bringing back a season two, and we
Yeah.
had actually even talked about changing things in the rules. We've contacted people that
Yeah.
would be interested, maybe becoming a judge, in this. So that would, change that. I think that was probably the biggest rule that I really had the problem I had with, I was late 60s, mid or early 60s, and, you know, Instagram and, TikTok, all this stuff was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, having that following,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the right word right now. It's just, I lacked that right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I felt
Yeah.
like, man, this is going to be an uphill climb, but, I
Yeah.
accept the challenge. So, but I think that needs to be changed. I think the judging
Yeah.
should be what's on the plate in front of
Mhm.
the camera.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
That's just the way it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I mean, and I would say something as just getting 3 people that you think, if you don't want to leave it up to the audience, because once you leave it up to the audience, and there's ways to, obviously somebody with a bigger audience will kind of have a little bit of an edge. And even someone with a higher audience, I would imagine they would want to think that they won something because they earned it, and not because they have more followers than the person they're up against. But I think if you guys figure that out, like the voting aspect of it, and make it interesting, I think it's cool to do. There's different ways, I think, to go around it, but I think if you guys think it through, I think you guys could figure out what to do and how to make it better.
I think,
And
George and I have got, a lot of ideas, but
yeah.
it's sort of that, crawl before you walk thing,
Yeah.
before you just
Yeah.
overwhelm yourself to where you just throw your hands up and just say, the hell with it. But,
Yeah.
one step at a time, one step at a time. What other hobbies do you have, Sal?
Lots of hobbies. No, I really, I mean, I really like photography. So that's one of those things where I love photography. And that's, whether it's just taking photos with my phone of just stupid things, to, just going on the computer and, tweaking things and making them better. That I would say is my one of the hobbies that I have when I'm not cooking, because I think cooking is one of the things where I consider YouTube a hobby still.
Right.
So that's when that's not taking my time, I like to do that. But I would also say watching movies and watching TV shows, but there's been very little of that. I don't even want to call that where I spend my time in. I'm not into video games, or things like that. I'm not into, like, cars and or model trains. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what if I were to pick a non-cooking hobby, I would probably pick photography.
Randy Lance is thinking, please say trains, please say trains. Photography is something that I would really like to. I mean, I actually took a class years and years ago
Yeah.
where I was doing, I was getting into double exposures and everything, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but I just got out of it. Life happens. Life
Yeah.
happens. They're always changing technology on cameras.
Yeah.
My AE1 was a dinosaur. Shortly after owning it, and
Yeah.
but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sous vide.
Oh, that is that. Are you sure you want to go there, Lance? um,
Vide.
so sous vide. I the last time I used a sous vide machine was for that rest, and that's all I use it for, then I think money well spent. I didn't. I enjoyed that, holding that brisket with sous vide. Give a little shout out to Randy and Guggen on that video, because I think those are the first regulars that I heard that technique being used. I heard it from them, and so I gave them a little a bit of a shout out on that video. But yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to rest it. It beats me resting it in the oven and leaving that thing running all night, and the whole brisket smells. The whole house smells like brisket, and it's just a big waste of energy having that oven run for so long. So I think I prefer it this way versus the oven rest. I don't have any food warmers or anything like that. Any way to else another way of holding it other than the oven or the sous vide, but I prefer the sous vide. It worked out really well. It's messy. It's used a lot of water. It's a little scary because it could pop the bag, and there's all these things that you have to consider, but I think it's worth it. I've been a fan of the long rest on a brisket for quite a while, so I was very excited about that. As far as other foods, I love the sous vide steak. I know it's lame to boil your meat and then go out there and sear it on a grill. I know it seems silly to do it. Why not just direct grill the steak and be done with it? You get more of that charcoal flavor and all that good stuff. Like you should enjoy being out in the barbecue, grilling out there. Why are you taking this thing that's not broken? Searing a steak on the grill is that idea. That method has been tried and true. You produces great results. Why would you make it more complicated with sous vide? But I will say that I did it with my parents when they were here. I put a couple steaks in the sous vide machine. When it was time to ready for dinner, all I did was sear them, and they came out the perfect temperature. So that was good stuff. And I still need to experiment more. I'm probably not going to make a video on it, but I do definitely want to cook other stuff on it. Like I want to cook ribs on it, see how that turns out. Maybe sous vide the ribs and then sear. Go out in the Gabby's grill and then just sear them and make them really get that color on them. That's something I want to try. But so it's gonna be a lot of experimenting, but probably off camera. I don't think I'm gonna make another sous vide video. I say that now, but who knows, right? Like sometimes I'm just like, I have this great idea. I'm going to film it. I'm going to put it up.
So, yeah, who knows? I mean, it's almost like, who would ever thought that Sal would cook on a gas grill?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other touch. That's the other button right there.
That's the lead into the next question, Sal. So.
Yeah, so the old gas grill, right? So my experience with the gas grill, I cooked on it when I was small. I started very early grilling for the family. I was the guy that used to, anytime we'd have a family gathering, I would cook on it. It was usually a gas grill. We could do charcoal, but it was for the amount of people. A gas grill there's more grill space, so you could quickly cook food a lot faster. So skip to me moving down to LA. I lived in an apartment, so they don't allow charcoal grills there. So the gas grill, me and my roommate got one, and that's how I would cook my chicken, how I cook my burgers, my steaks. It was super small, so but that was my grilling experience for that apartment life. And then once I got out of that apartment life, charcoal, I was 100% in on it. Again, I had experience with charcoal grilling before, but now it's just I have no reason to use a gas grill. Zero reason. So I've been putting off a few people hitting me up trying to give me a gas grill, and I've always played with the idea, well, maybe I should, because let's face it, the majority of people are gas grill owners. I hate to say it. It's painful for me to say, right? But we're not talking about us. We owe more than one grill usually. But I'm talking about the average person. They probably have a gas grill and they're cooking maybe once or twice a year. And that to me is just heartbreaking, right? Because they need to cook on it more. So I always play with that idea where I need to get a gas grill just for the idea that maybe it'll expose me to a new audience. A gas griller who just shows up in my video and they're like, well, I don't have a charcoal grill, but I got a gas and this guy's using gas. So I'm going to check out his video and see what he's cooking. So I always played around with that idea. And it wasn't until Monument Grills reaching out to me the second time, because he reached out to me before and I said no. But then my little voice in my head said, well, why are you saying no? Like, just give it a shot. They're given to you. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal. It's not money off of your wallet. So I gave it a try, and thinking I'm just gonna do, a video on it and then just get rid of it. But after the video was done, I still used it. And when it came time to get rid of it, my wife was like, no, no, don't get rid of it. It's useful to have to, throw in a bunch of vegetables in there. Just have a good, some carne asada on the big grills, and then just throw all your corn, your potatoes, or whatever vegetable you want cooked. Just throw it on the gas grill, right? And just leave it there running, and it's very, very convenient. And I like the little side burner, so cook down little sauces or little gravies or whatever it is with that little. I don't have to go inside the house to do any of that stuff. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe charcoal grillers as I was so against gas grilling that I forgot, to really see the big picture of it. And if whatever makes your job easier is really what you should get, and if me doing it all outside versus rushing back in and using the stove for something, if I could do it all outside, then that to me it's a big plus. And that's why I'm a fan now. And that was, I would never thought I would say that, but I am. And I'm not afraid to admit it. Damn it.
No, I don't have a problem with gas grills. I have
Yeah.
a small little one, just for the
Yeah.
wife and I, but I don't ever use it. I mean, it's just that thing. I mean, it's just, you know, a
Yeah.
backyard barbecuer that, is either a
Yeah.
stick burner or,
Yeah.
a Weber user or, a pellet cooker.
Yeah.
It's just customary. You have to give them a hard time when they,
Yeah.
break out the gas grill. And
Yeah.
that's all that was about. But I was sort of kind of curious to, where that went for you, because I
Yeah.
know you had talked about, maybe it would open you up to another group of people,
Yeah.
and I mean, so did you see that or?
Yeah, my those two videos that I did get a decent amount of views. That's why I said yes to this other grill that Monument's gonna send me, or already sent me. I'm sorry. So I did see it did fairly well, and I think I I kind of abandoned it. I should have stuck with it. I should have kept doing cooks on it. But man, it's part of it is just trying to balance the love for all your grills, right? And the 26, I felt like it took most of my attention recently. So I'm trying to refocus and make sure that the rest of my grills get attention.
Yeah.
And the gas grill, I definitely want to cook more on it. I want to do your standard, burgers and hot dogs on it, burgers and steaks, because that's usually what people cook on the gas grills, there.
Yeah.
So I want to do that. I want to tap into that. I know it's very, very oversaturated. They don't need another steak, gas grilled steak on YouTube, but you know what? Maybe I'll figure out a way to just make it a little bit different to kind of, appeal to somebody, or heck, maybe make them decide where like, hey, maybe I do need I love my Weber kettle. Maybe I do need a little gas grill, to
Or,
just kind of as a
maybe just,
companion.
or even do a cook, you said hamburgers,
Yeah.
do a hamburger on the gas and a hamburger
Yeah.
on the Weber, and
Yeah.
uh,
The
get
comparison.
someone to come in that uh, it's impartial, totally impartial, whether it be someone from work, your next door neighbor,
Mhm.
whatever, and just let
Yeah.
them do the taste and just sort of
Yeah.
kind of get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the gas is more of a convenience. I
Yes.
personally do taste something different.
Yeah.
That's just me. I taste something different with a gas grill cook.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's really convenient. That's how I got my Kamado. The guy,
Yeah.
he didn't want to mess with the coals and the lumps and the woods and everything. He wanted to come
Yeah.
home from work or come out on a weekend,
Yeah.
turn a knob, press a button, and start to cook his steaks. immediately instead of waiting for something to warm up and all that. So
so
and I get that.
Yeah.
So you want to answer this question right here real quick, bro?
What is the best way to cook ribs on a gas grill or a grill with charcoal? So that's a very interesting question because I wanted to do a hot and fast rib cook on the gas grill. So here's my idea. And low heat, just get a quick sear, just kind of the same way I did the rib video yesterday, over the wood fire. And just sear it really well. And then, once you're happy with that color, it's probably not going to be cooked. It's probably not going to be tender, but that's when you do the wrap. I think the aluminum wrap and putting in some sort of liquid in there, whether it's just, a little sweet, little honey in there, a little apple juice. You go that route. You want to keep it savory, bring in like a nice little salsa, or a little, not spicy, but just put any sort of saucy, little bit of spice in there, or like enchilada sauce. Just experiment with the different kind of Mexican sauces. That's my inclination, and just wrap it up, and then put it on that little, because most gas grills have that little second grate that things are a little cooler. And I would turn off the burners from the center, and I would have the side burners going, cover it up, and then keep the ribs in the center and let it just finish cooking. Let them get nice and tender. I don't think that would take too long to cook those ribs on the gas grill that way. Yes, you're gonna be missing out on the smoke flavor, but that's where we start experimenting with maybe having a little smoke box, putting in some wood chips in there, and maybe it'll absorb some of that smoke. But that's my idea is cooking them on the gas grill. And I don't know what you guys think of that. If I'm way off on that,
No,
my idea.
you're
But
absolutely
that's
correct.
that's what I want to do at a certain point. On the charcoal, it's much easier. Just the hardest thing about the charcoal, as you guys know, is you have to be very, very familiar with your grill to maintain a low temperature. So I still prefer low and slow ribs over the hot and fast, because the low and slow gets nice and super tender, and that gives it that fat to render perfectly, and you get a better product. But you're also out there for 4 or 5 hours, cooking these things.
Right.
So as long as you master your grill to leave a low temperature, 250. I love 250. If it goes to 275, I have no issues with it. If you can maintain your kettle or what your charcoal grill in that temperature, 250, 275, cook them indirectly. Let them get nice color. You could leave them there if you want to keep it simple. Just go unwrapped and just let them finish off until they get nice and tender. If you want to get a little fancy, like us barbecue guys, and wrap it with some aluminum foil again to give it that same treatment, some butter, some honey, some brown sugar, some barbecue sauce, whatever flavors you're looking for. You want that sweet rib, then throw some sugar in there. If you want to keep it savory, then keep it, don't add any of that stuff. Put in a broth, instead of a sweet juice, and then wrap it up in your aluminum foil, and same treatment. Let it wait until it gets nice and tender, and you could sauce at the end if that's your thing. But the hardest thing about the making a rib, I'll be honest, is gauging when it's tender enough, where it's going to give you a nice bite, but then not overcooked, where all the bones are just falling apart. But if you're going for that, then let them cook. Forget about them. Let them just cook until they, the bones just fall off. But I like my ribs with a little bit of bite on them.
Yeah, I don't mind a little bit of bite. And to be honest with you, I don't mind fall off the bone either. But I would prefer a bite and leave something on the bone.
Yeah.
But so let me get you to back up. So the purpose of the gas grill and cooking ribs, what is your main intention by doing that? Is just you're not trying to cook them faster. You're just trying to cook them and still get the same flavor, but maybe do something different to create a smoke flavor.
Yeah, so that's I know you could put some little smoke box in there.
Yeah.
You fill it up with either pellets. I've seen people fill it up with pellets, but I'm thinking more wood chips, and then just lighting it up and then just putting it next to it so it there's smoke. The smoke fills the gas,
Yeah.
the gas grill, and gives it a little bit of smoke in there. I don't know if it's gonna be overwhelmingly like you could actually, like, these were clearly cooked on a charcoal grill. I don't think it's going to be that big of an extreme of a difference, but if you get a little bit of touch of smoke that you would normally get, then I think that's a win, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you could always, and it's sort of kind of using two different things. George, I'm keeping time in my mind.
No, you're good. You're good.
Running over just a little bit here, but I mean, you could always start off with, a heavy, clean smoke. I still have a problem with the clean, dirty smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I get a dirty smoke. If it's so dirty and you're using something that makes it bitter, I understand.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a quality piece of pecan wood thrown
Mm-hmm.
on a fire, and because you just burn out your other piece, I don't call that dirty smoke. That's just my opinion. I'm
Yeah.
sticking to it. So maybe
Yeah.
if it was something that was, heavily smoked first on the kettle and then,
Mm-hmm.
taken over to the gas grill or something, get
Yeah.
that flavor in there, maybe. I mean, that'd be another way to doing it.
No, that I think that makes total sense to get that, get a little bit of smoke, kind of the sous vide, right? Like you cook it,
Ah,
but it'd be the opposite of that because you're getting smoke first
right.
and then you're finishing them off on the gas. Um, I know I've done that on the Santa Maria where I semi cooked them on the low and slow, and at a certain time I would just sear them and then just finish and cooking them that way, and you get some really good flavor because of that. You're hitting them with the fire. They get that that char on the ribs, and
Mhm.
that's delicious. I'm a fan of that. So I would assume you could do that same thing with the gas. Is get a little bit of smoke and then sear the hell out of them on the gas.
Yeah.
It'll be a different rib, but it's still
Yeah,
good stuff.
definitely. Definitely a different
So,
rib. Just as a sort of off topic, I've always seen you wear your hats like that and all
mhm.
that, and it always makes me think of some guy that drives around a Porsche in
Mhm.
California someplace or a Beamer. What do you drive, Sal? I'm just curious. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, I don't drive a Porsche. So I used to drive fancy cars, but not anymore. I'm driving a very simple white Honda Civic that gets me to where I need to go.
Yeah,
So before then, I was driving a Porsche. No, I was driving a Porsche. No, before then, I was driving my Challenger. I had a Challenger for a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
years, and my yeah, so that was kind of my fun car.
Your
But
plum Tony.
unfortunately, got into an accident with it, and I was like, you can't have anything nice out here in LA as your main car. So that's why I got the very boring Honda Civic,
Hey, I
because
got a
of
I sport around a 2009 Accord.
yeah.
That's my everyday vehicle. So I love
Yeah.
Hondas. I think they're great.
Yeah.
Um, so I got. I'm sorry. I thought George was chiming in. Um, short versus long, and
Hmm.
I think that's an obvious answer. But
Yeah.
I'm just curious because there's something that's always stuck in the back of my head,
Hmm.
and I and I try. I just recently started putting out a couple more shorts, only because I took a vacation from YouTube. I was just down on YouTube for a while,
Yeah.
and I thought anything I could do to get the video seen, it would be to my advantage. But
Hmm.
there's something that is just stuck in my craw where people say when they do a short, I mean they're getting crazy amounts of subs,
Yeah.
and I just don't see it. I swear. I
Yeah.
don't know because it's like let's keep the old man down. Let's just piss him off. Old
Here,
son of a bitch shouldn't be out here doing shorts anyway, old man. Stick to
yeah.
the long format.
Here's what I found out about shorts. I'll still do them even despite what I'm about to share. But last year, was it last year or was it the year before? I think it was last year. I went an entire month posting a short every day. And it got me views and it got me subscribers. But when I stopped doing them, those new subscribers that I got, it was not changing my view count on my regular videos. So that to me gave me a clear indication where I could be gaining, 100,000 subscribers with shorts, but if one of them of those 100,000 are watching my long form video, what the hell am I doing at that point? If it's not giving me money, if it's not getting people to watch my long form, it seems like it's pointless at that stage. But now the reason I do them is because I do them on my Instagram and I do them on my TikTok because I do want to grow those. Not be 100% focused in on those, but I would still want to produce content for that. So that's occasionally you'll see a short pop up on YouTube, but I'm not making it for YouTube. I'm doing it to grow my TikTok or my Instagram. And what perfect way, right? You make one short and there's nothing stopping you from posting it everywhere else because it's done. And the same thing with my Facebook. I started trying to grow a Facebook page last year as well to just be everywhere. That's my kind of my intent so that when I do get to be, a fairly bigger channel, those things are already established and I don't have to create a Facebook page. It's there.
Right.
So that's kind of my thing with shorts. I will say, Lance, because I see you talk about this on your lives, I'm not getting subscribers, I'm not getting views. You have to, and the algorithm talk. It's one of those things where I don't know if you follow any of these YouTube experts. There's a lot of them out there, but the one thing that really stuck out from one of those guys was saying, and I think Mr. Beast, the big YouTube guy, he's the one who said it, and a YouTube expert kind of repeated it, and he said, "Don't don't use the word algorithm. Replace it with audience." So that changed my perspective because now it's the algorithm doesn't like my video. No, the audience doesn't like my video. So if we think about it that way, now it completely changes your perspective because now you're thinking, am I targeting the wrong audience? Like, who is my audience? Like, this video, is that something they would want to watch? Is that, is my next video, does that tap into my audience? Like, you should really care less what the YouTube algorithm does because it's going to do what it's going to do. We have zero control over what gets pushed and all that stuff. All we could have our full control is on the audience that we have in mind. So that's how I would see it. And kind of maybe it makes sense to you. Maybe I just confused you more.
No,
But I
that makes
think for
perfect
me,
sense.
it
Perfect
struck
sense.
really well because don't think of it as the algorithm doesn't want you to succeed or the algorithm didn't love my video. Just kind of see it in, well, maybe my video, is it's good video, but it's not hitting the right audience. But why? What am I doing with my titles, my thumbnails? Like, what does my audience want to see from me, and how do they want me to make content for them? That's kind of the perspective that I learned
Yeah, so
from
I
from
think
those
what you're
guys.
saying is I should focus more on doing some more Ben Gay reviews.
Hey, if you
On
could
some
get a
interesting
sponsorship,
stuff
Lance,
or something.
if you could get a sponsorship with Ben Gay and you could sneak it in the middle of your rib video and get paid, and then just do it in such a way where no one notices you're promoting Ben Gay, then
Yeah.
you, my friend, you have it made.
Always when I very first started getting into this, and I was like, I really think that people are going to um, maybe look at my age and think of like, man, I don't know if I really want to follow this guy or not. I'd rather follow a younger guy that's doing, cooks and stuff like that. And only because to me, I mean, it seems like, and I could be wrong about this. I'm grateful for my children, and my children have old souls. But I think a lot of today's children don't have old souls. So it's like, they would rather take knowledge from people of their own age, before they would take knowledge from someone that's been there, done that. Because it just, unfortunately, to me, it just seems like, it's just something that they don't want to hear, from someone that's older. But again, that's, just me. So.
No, I think Lance, you need to just see it under different light. Like there's people from all walks of life on YouTube. So you have to realize that you're not going to appeal to everybody. That's the very first thing that we all should learn, right? It's a very hard rule to learn that, hey, there are going to be people out there that just do not like you. There's nothing you could change your content every single time to try to appeal to that percentage that doesn't like you, but you won't convince them to watch you. So you have no control about who likes you, and you have to kind of let that go. You have to concentrate on the people that do like you, and then really hone in on why they like you, and then give them more of that. That's the best. I think that's the best piece of advice that was given to me was don't try to change how you present things or how the videos you make in order to appeal to people that you think don't like you, because they're not going to like you no matter what, and it's kind of a hard pill to swallow, thinking, man, there's people out there that hate my guts. They just, and it could just be like the way you talk, it could be the way you cook, could be the way you're on camera, it could be a million, the cooker that you use, it could just be a million reasons why they don't want to subscribe to you or watch your content, but you have no control over that. So you have to acknowledge your that idea that not everybody's going to like you, but then you have to realize that there are people that really enjoy your content, and you have to make content for them, and then really hone in on the audience. If your audience has to be, happens to be, the same age group as you or younger than you or whatever that is, then figure out what they like and just keep feeding it to them, and then sooner or later that audience will just keep growing and growing, because I think YouTube should do a decent enough job to kind of find them for you. If you have if you're hitting it off with the young ladies, the young 20-year-olds, Lance, and YouTube catches on to you, they're going to keep you pushing your video to these young ladies, because that YouTube's going to realize, okay, Lance is a big hit with these girls, so we're gonna get more girls for Lance. You know what I mean? I'm giving you like a very extreme example, but that's how it works, and then you have to kind of think of it that way. At least that's how I think about it. Whether that's gonna work or not for me long term, it's still, it's still up in the air, But that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Boy, what a way to raise a guy up and deflate him all in a matter of seconds now.
But yeah, that's the thing.
It's time, bro. I know you wanted to get off it. I think you said it'd be 6 my time, so it'd be 9.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Keep going. It's all right. It's fine.
I got one question, and my last question, and I think this is going to create a little bit of conversation here.
Yeah.
And this is the one that sort of Sal had even brought up. I asked Sal last night, as I do everybody that we interview, I give them the opportunity to tell us something, that they may want to talk about, so it's not just about 805 and myself, we are, providing a platform, but, our guests are making our platforms interesting. So it's your time also, in my opinion. And one of the things that Sal had said that he thought that was really controversial was a topic that he brought up and it was, us younger guys that are struggling and trying to get, recognition. If there's a sponsorship out there, Should you take it if there's no money involved, or should you pass it until there's money involved? Now, there's two edges to this, I think, a little bit. So, so you can take something that is not compensated with, with cash also, but you can make that item, turn that item into cash, or think about, the cash that it saved you by not having to purchase it. So I'm just sort of kind of want to throw that back out there again. I mean, I think that you're pretty adamant about, if I'm going to give you a commercial, then, and this is a commercial as long as YouTube is showing it, which how much longer after we go, after we pass on. So your opinion on it is that you shouldn't do a review on something unless it's some type of a monetary compensation. Am I correct?
Yes. That was, it is, but like you said, it's even more, it's more confusing, because then you start thinking like those examples you said. My monetary compensation could be, I didn't have to buy this product for myself to test it out whether or not it was, that's a big win in many people's books. Or my win is I could resell this thing. So there's definitely gray areas that we could talk about, and we just don't have time to just go through each of the different circumstances where it might be okay.
I agree.
But I think on average, the first thing that I tell people, and I told myself, I always know your worth, Sal. You know what you're doing, and know what you're providing is of value. First of all, as soon as you figure out what you're providing, what your value is, then that it makes it easier to start charging people. So the other thing too that makes it even more complicated is we're not, all us content creators are not built the same. So we're in it for different reasons. So that's where it gets great. What works for me might not work for you, Lance, if you're on a different spectrum of what you want to, how you view your channel. You know what I mean? So, and by the reason I bring that up is because we have to kind of talk about the different classes of content creators. You have your A bracket are those that are, they're not afraid to put money on their channel. They'll hire videographers, they'll hire editors. They're making money. They're not taking free sponsorship deals because they got expenses. They gotta pay. There's a payroll in their company. They have to pay people. They have to make money. They have to make it consistently. That A tier is a little bit more. We probably all wish we were at that tier. We all want to make money. But then you also have that kind of the C tier where it's mostly people don't really care. They treat it as less than a hobby. They're just putting stuff out there. They don't care if it grows, if it grows great. If they could get a couple of free things from sponsors, it's winning for them, because they're throwing very little effort into their channel. They're not working hard. They're not really paying money to get better. They're not buying expensive equipment. They're not doing all of these things that the bigger channels are doing. And then you have people like us, and I want to say us because I think you and Jorge kind of fall in that middle ground where it's a hobby. We eventually want to make money, but we could easily fall, either way in a matter of days. All of a sudden where our channel blows up and we get a bunch of companies reaching out to us, then all of a sudden we're at that A tier and we're making good money and we're buying equipment and we're hiring people and all that stuff. Or we could quickly just lose interest and just not care, and not really stop posting content and not caring whether we're growing or not. So I think all of us are in that middle stage. And I think for us, you have to know your worth. You have to realize that whether you're in it for a year or 5 years, what you learn in that time is worth something, and it's worth something to the brand. that's reaching out to you. You have to realize that they're not, if it was this easy to create content, they wouldn't hit you up. They would do it themselves. There's a reason why they're not doing it themselves. It's because you're going to do it. Now, whether you're doing it for free for them or you're charging money, there has to be something, a reason why they're hitting you up. And I think a lot of us don't realize that what we provide for brands is, of value, because not everyone could do this, as we know. Like, we can't, and not everyone can just create up a YouTube channel and get good at it overnight. It requires a lot of time. A certain time, it requires money. If you buy a new camera or a light or whatever that is, a StreamYard subscription, it costs money to produce content. So, you have to realize that the brands that are reaching out to you, one is if it's a brand that you really want to work with and they're giving you a free grill, then it's probably worth taking that for free because you love the brand. It's something that you were going to purchase, and if you don't like it, you could always resell it. So there's money there. But I think unknown brands, it's a little harder pill to swallow unless that's your goal, is just to have a bunch of, if you want to throw up a product review, if your focus is going to be product reviews on your channel, then it probably makes sense to take as many free products as you can and review all of them. But again, that takes us to where now we're giving subcategories to us, But I
Right.
think
And that
for the
Dugan,
majority of us, we need to come up with a price in
yeah,
our heads and then throw that number at them. And then if they say no, then you either could live with that or you could be like, you know what, I'll do it for free, but
yeah,
at least we have to ask.
yeah. When George, John, and myself originally started, the Goodfellas, which turned into the Gringo and the Mexican, we had a couple guests on there, and they basically, pretty much reiterated everything you just said. I mean, there should be a dollar value there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I totally agree with it. But, at the same token, sometimes having a product
Mm-hmm.
uh, for almost like what you were saying, why you went into doing a gas grill because you thought that maybe you could tap into another audience. So
Yeah.
let's just say if I did not have a pellet grill
Yeah.
or I did not have a flat top, but
Yeah.
someone wants to offer me a flat top, but they're not
Yeah.
going to pay me.
Yeah.
So I can take that laptop and maybe hope that I can tap into another audience or
Mm-hmm.
sell it later. But one of the things
Yeah.
that Guggen has said, and it's sort of kind of stuck to my head, and I guess I never really thought of it that way,
Mm-hmm.
is that he never had interest in being a product whore. I guess
Mm-hmm.
is the crude way of saying that. So
Yeah.
someone that's just doing reviews and getting shit free just to blow it out real quick. And
Yeah.
and then say, oh, look how much shit I got this year, but
Mm-hmm.
don't become a review channel, I guess is the bottom line in his
Yeah.
opinion. I agree with that.
Yeah. And the other thing too that I was gonna say, that you also have to, again, we all come from different thoughts. So, my thinking might not work for you. Like, if you're happy with getting some free products, and that what I say is it's just going to go one ear and out the other. It's not going to really have an impact on you. But I will say that, in terms of, if you were to replace a free YouTube video with painting my house, would you be okay with doing that for free? Or would you, maybe there's some people that would do it for free for, a 6 pack of beers every day when they go work. Others might be okay if I provide all of the supplies for them, or some people might be okay with them painting my house and then me, making YouTube videos for them, like some sort of like bargaining, arrangement there. Or the professionals, I'm going to have a hard of a time to tell them to paint my house for free because they they have the equipment, they've invested in, payroll, and, for the painters in their company, there's gas expenses to drive over here, the paint costs is all the different equipment. So it's very and completely impossible to convince them to paint my house for free. But maybe somebody out there wants to be a painter in the future, and maybe they need experience, or they need, that you promise them to, write a letter of recommendation so that you could get more work, where you could start charging. Maybe you could make a point where you could paint someone's house for free. But that, I know it's a very extreme example, because painting in a house is probably not nearly as difficult as creating a YouTube video. But hopefully I kind of, make that analogy where you have to kind of realize where you stand, you know. Um, and the other thing too, I usually get flack about when I say stuff like that, but I also want to say, like, it shouldn't ruffle any feathers, because it doesn't benefit me to tell you, Lance, to charge. I don't get any of that money. I'm just telling you, I want money in your pocket, because
Right.
I know the brands will give you money if you ask for it. And if they don't, then you have to realize, like, make that decision, but at least ask. You know what I mean? Because that money you get from these brands are not going in my pocket. It's for your
Right.
benefit. So I'm not sure where that flack comes from. Maybe I
Right.
come off too strong with my opinion. Maybe I'm too, like, because I could be a little bit too direct, and I could be a little, like, it might come off as me as being too, like what I say goes. But I'm not saying that at all. It's still your decision ultimately. I
No,
just want to give advice.
I don't think you're wrong in that, and I believe that that is the way it should happen. But
Hmm.
I also believe, you know, in a perfect world, that would be every situation,
Yeah.
um, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's more often that someone wants to throw you something for free 60 seconds,
Yeah.
you know, and you
Yeah.
keep the item. Now you can go back to them, just like Al does, Al
Yeah.
Noon.
Yeah.
You can request, and that's usually how I determine, whether I even want to work for a person or not, even
Hmm.
if it is a free item. If I
Yeah.
can't get something to throw my people,
Yeah.
my people are the ones that are following George and I and you,
Yeah.
not only in our lives as Gringo and the Mexican, but on our personal channels. I
Yeah.
mean, these people are religiously the same names. You
Yeah.
know, I do wish you start, beating up your mom and your dad and your sister and brother and make them watch our shit more often. But,
Yeah.
um, you know, if the vendor is willing to give me something to give these people that
Yeah.
are faithful to me, then I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's why that's why it become more of a difficult, discussion overall, because we're all in it for different reasons, you know. Al is happy with that, and that's working for him, because he's, from what I've, collected from him, his Amazon store is doing really well. His lives do really well because he's giving something away to his supporters. So this is all great stuff, where he might not need to be compensated, and that could work for him. But I guess my overall impression is if it works for you, great, but also know your worth. Know
Yeah.
that no matter what your video and how long you've been at it, you have some worth, and it doesn't have to be production value. Because I've said this on Al's live. If I was the type of person where I'm entertaining as hell, where I'm just making people laugh, I'm telling jokes, I'm telling stories, and everyone's eyes are just glued on me, and I'm giving instructions how to do something, and people just understand it. If I've had those abilities, then that's what I would focus on, But I don't, so I hide my weaknesses, and I show my strengths, and that's what we have to do as content creators, is show your strengths. So if you are a good salesman, then you absolutely should be asking for money, because you're going to make a video where it's going to convince anybody to buy that product, and
Yeah.
that's worth something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have to ask for that. So if I'm the type to, have really expensive camera equipment, and I could make that product look absolutely beautiful, like it could just belongs on, network television in a commercial, then I'm going to charge people for that, because not every YouTube creator is going to be able to give them that, for free,
Right.
especially.
Right.
So know your strengths, know what your worth is, ultimately what it is, and it's up to you to kind of figure out how much you need to charge, you
Yeah.
know.
All right, Sal. I think George got an early call in the morning,
All right.
and
No, you guys can keep going, man. This is fine. Keep going.
no, I'm out of questions unless the chat has some more questions.
Here, I got something.
Yeah.
You have a question for me or Loverboy? Let Lance go
Question.
first.
Okay, so Lance, um like what is, like, just on the same topic, like what are your goals? Like, what, like, I know they change. I'm sure you started with a different mindset. I think you've been here for 3 years, right? You've been at it for 3 years,
Uh,
like.
I think so. It's pretty close. I just saw
So
something saying it was my birth date on YouTube, but I
yeah,
didn't
so
look it up to see what it was.
what are your short-term goals, and what are your long-term goals for your channel? Like, what are you planning to do, in the upcoming months, and then what do you try to do by the end of the year, and then, like, give it another long-term goal that you want for your channel in terms of cooking recipes or growth, whatever it means to you. I'm just kind of curious as to what your mindset is.
I took some time off recently from it, from YouTube, because I was just hating YouTube. I was, I'm a figures guy. I like seeing something for the money that I'm spending. I don't have a whole lot of expendable cash because I'm retired now.
Mhm.
So it's, living on a budget and having a wife that's cheaper than me. It's a pretty tough. It's a pretty tough life.
Yeah.
But you know, as I said a little while ago, I mean, I went into this thinking that everybody says, oh, it's a tough nut to crack. You'll never do it.
Mhm.
And I consider that a challenge. Don't ever tell me I can't do something,
Mhm.
because I'm going to step right up to it, and I'm going to personally be my goal first to prove your ass wrong.
Mhm.
Um, but outside of younger, I had a couple things in my bucket list that I would like to do, and that would have had been a double retirement and have something that done something great to help people and be recognized for that. Well,
Mhm.
neither of them happened. Knee surgery, back surgery, and everything. So you just sort of kind of muddle along. But
Mhm.
doing a YouTube thing was my way of leaving something back for my children and my family to see.
Yeah.
I do want to make money from it,
Yeah.
and I really, as many times that people say you got to start doing stuff that the algorithm, the audience, the people are
Mhm.
going to want to watch, um, but I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
I just, I did a searing steak last weekend. I haven't even put that video out yet.
Mhm.
I hung some ribs today.
Yeah.
I really don't even want to do that video because it's
Mhm.
just been done so many times.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy being different. But
Mhm.
man, it's hard being different in
Yeah.
YouTube. But
Yeah.
I still want to be different, short term, long term. But I would really, I'm just holding on to that. You know, good Lord, did you see these breakfast bites this dude made? You know, then all of a sudden it just takes off.
Yeah.
I'm the next half-dressed woman that got that got 6 million views in 6 hours.
Yeah.
But uh, I would like to be able to make money, and it would be again um, comforting knowing that when I'm gone, when it's my time to pass, I've there's a little bit extra coming in for the family. That every month that they can say,
Yeah.
the man never gave up. He always, wanted to, keep fighting and bring in extra money. It was always an entrepreneur type thinker. But
Yeah.
that's me. That's me.
I think Lance, just honestly, I don't know. I know you, but I don't know you like, like for a long time, I guess you could say. But I get that. I know I got that first impression from you from the very beginning that you want to get shit done and you want to, I think you are doing stuff. You're not just, I mean, I look up to people, the fact that people aren't just sitting around and not doing anything. They're doing something productive, whether it's a YouTube thing, whether it's your embroidery business. Like, you're not, that's commendable that you're not just sitting around and just, not doing anything with your life, even though you probably should, because you're retired, right? That's your
Right.
time to just relax and chill out. But the fact that you're still driven
Right.
to want to do stuff, that to me is respectable. I think anybody in this chat would want that, there's just, I think a lot of it too is just, I see a lot of young people that are just lazy. There's just so many lazy people that don't want to do anything, like nothing lights a fire under their ass. It does nothing. They're not interested in anything. And that to me is sad. Imagine when they're older, and then they see themselves at 50 or 60, and then start realizing, oh shit, I haven't done anything, I got to start doing stuff. That to me is, it could also be sad, because it's like you piss your life away, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I do think that, most people, once they grow older, because I'll probably be the same way as you. I want to keep busy, I want to keep doing stuff. And whatever that is, whatever keeps my mind occupied. Because I think as soon as you start moping around and sitting around not doing anything, I think life just kind of just, goes away quicker than you could think, because a lot of people just give up on life.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
something that,
Troy made a comment earlier, and it's one of the things that I believe. I mean, it's the only thing that beats a failure is a person that doesn't try.
yeah.
And that's just something I like to live by as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Your turn, 805.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. So, same question to you. I'm kind of wondering. I know you took,
What was the question again?
well, I just want to know what your goals are. Like, what are you planning? Short term, long term. Just, it could be YouTube. It could just be life. It could be, it could be anything you wanna talk about. But I want to keep it with YouTube oriented. Just, I know you stopped posting content, but now you're kind of jumping back on that horse and starting to release content, which is cool. But I was just wondering if you want to, go. And I know you're busy, and that's probably what's stopping you from pushing out more content. But I'm wondering, is that gonna ease? Are you gonna try to come up with a way to post more often, or is that something where you're okay with the way your channel is now as far as consistency and pushing out content? Do you want to increase it? Like, what are your goals but for the end of the year, and just long term? Like, where do you see yourself, in a couple of years, or where do you want to see yourself in a couple of years?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not really paying attention to YouTube right now.
Yeah.
It's in the back burner. My job, I should say, has crazy hours, as
Yeah.
much as most of you guys know. Some days, it's a usual day, 12-hour, 14-hour day.
Yeah.
YouTube's on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much to say. As far as my
Yeah.
personal life, it's going really good. I mean,
Mhm.
really, really good. um, be buying a house. I just sold my house, or I'm trying to sell it anyways. So I'll be hopefully be buying a house within 2 years. And then once I get my house, I'll think I put more content out. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right now I'm at my abuelita's, and it's a little hard to film videos here.
Yeah.
You got those pinchy birds in the background, those birds. Sick of those
Yeah.
birds, bro. And then you got the dogs barking.
Yeah.
And all kinds of shit back there, bro. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing a second channel.
Yeah.
Like a foodie review, if you will, of
Okay.
Ventura and LA County, whatnot, So
Mhm.
I was asking what kind of job I have. I drive concrete trucks, bro. C-Mex. We're all over Orange County, LA County, all over that area. But I'll try to put out more content from time to time,
Yeah.
Yeah. For now, it's just
Yeah,
work.
that's
It's all about work right now, work and my private
no.
life.
Yeah, that's one of the things that that you were, when you were doing, you had the time, you were pushing out, videos, you were filming almost every day, I would imagine, because you were pushing out a lot of content,
I
Yeah.
was. I was
at the
off for
very
two
beginning,
years.
and I honestly, and I saw myself, if I had that kind of time, I would absolutely, go 100% on YouTube like you did. But work is really, hey, you gotta pay bills. You
Yeah.
can't, and that's what I tell myself is I cannot, because it's a bummer coming home and then having to edit or having to film something, and you're already tired, you want to just call it. But it takes a lot of I don't know, a lot of willpower and I've done it a few times where I come home and I'm like, if I could just get 2 hours of editing, and then go to bed, I'll be good. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and that kind of work, but it's still hard. You have to kind of like it, because otherwise, if you're, and it sucks too, because smaller channels don't get the views. So it's like I literally came here, after work, and edit this video, and it got what, 10 views? Like,
Yeah.
that's what, like, why the hell should I keep doing this? It kind of discourages you. But at the same time, you just have to be on that mindset of I like doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it. And if it's something I don't enjoy, then you have to, like, step away for a little bit and kind of take a break. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think,
Yeah.
especially for us smaller channels, I think it's kind of naive to think that we owe anybody anything, because we're not making any money on here. And the money we are making is not enough to go on it full time. So
It's not even
it's
enough to cover the protein of your cook.
exactly. So
You know what
it's
I
it's
mean?
it's. I
So
think people are aware of that, and I think if you keep it as a hobby, where if I have time to do this, I'll do it. And
right.
if I don't, then I got other shit that I got to take care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
spend, most of the time I work 6 days a week, which I have
yeah,
1 day off, and I'm busy on Sundays.
yeah, yeah,
I go to church, I go get my groceries,
yeah,
and come home, watch a little TV,
yeah,
take a little nap, go on the live.
yeah,
Uh, I was off Saturday, it felt great, felt really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, the last
But
thing you
my
want to
job is
do is
very
sit in front
demanding.
of a computer and edit
Yeah,
videos. Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, like I said, YouTube's in the back burner right now, but eventually,
yeah,
I'll get back into it eventually.
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah, I
yeah,
wish I started earlier. Yeah, that would probably
We all
be.
do.
Yeah, I really wish. I mean, I see people that really got off to an early start, and it was a
Yeah.
different world.
That.
And
Yeah.
even
I want
some of
to.
them will even admit to you that YouTube back then is not what YouTube is now, and
Yeah.
there's so much competition,
Yeah.
and
I
there's
had.
so many creators, and the
Yeah.
pie has been cut so many times.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree with that. Man, I created my channel page 3 years before I actually posted on it.
what's up, Joey?
And before then, I had another account where I posted maybe like 3 or 4 quick little review videos of like I think it was like a iPad case and the iPhone or something. I just did 3 little quick videos. Totally forgot that I even did them, and then I checked on that old account and it had like thousands of views. And this was over 12 years ago, and I said, "Oh man, if I would have stuck with that and just kept, pushing content out back then I would imagine I would be a lot yeah, I would be in a different genre of YouTube videos, but it would be a lot larger than what I am. So I think we all wish we started sooner, but it is what it is, you know. You have to just, you know, do what you can with what you have, you know.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Chat, anybody got any questions? Or George, you're
Anybody in
going
the chat have any questions for Brother Sal, Primo? Oh, not all at once, guys. Not all at once. Raise your hand if you have a question for Sal.
I wish I could put more content. Yeah, that's one thing too that I wish that I could push out more content. But I think the 2 a week is comfortable enough for me where it gets me motivated, where I'm not dreading it. Like, oh man, now I have to work on this other video and I have to push it out. And it's 2 weeks. I think it's good enough time for me to not hate it. That feel like work, you know.
Yeah. There's a couple questions. Google wants to know if you have any piercings or tattoos.
No piercings, no tattoos. Except for the I love Lance on my right butt cheek. There is.
Come in here for a treat.
And Simon wants to know if you're still using parchment paper to wrap those tamales.
No, never have.
Your mind is here.
but stay tuned for this holiday. I make a video especially for Simon.
When did you lose your virginity and what position was it in? Have you ever used Doritos as a coating on your meat?
No, I've seen that. I've seen those TikToks though. People doing. I seen it. You know what? I seen it with the Cheetos, the hot Cheetos. They grind it up and then they use it as a like chicken, like the deep fried chicken and stuff like that. I see a lot of that, but I've heard of the Dorito. I never use it as to light your chimney. Yeah, I hear that works. I've never done it though.
Yeah. Next viral video.
Bill Cheek Tattoo says Lance was here, huh?
Sleeper was here.
Oh, shit.
All right, man. Well, Fritos will light it up. I'm probably done. 8:05.
Yeah.
I mean, Sal. I mean, he's been kind enough to.
You know what? Let me turn the question around.
I don't even know how long he's been on the panel because he was off air.
Let's just go another 8 minutes, 7 minutes. So let me turn the question around to Sal. What do you see yourself in your YouTube channel? Like, plan to retire on this? I don't know if you answered this already, but what are your goals in 5 years from now?
So, my next big goal, I don't know if it's going to take me 5 years. Hopefully it doesn't take me 5 years, is to get to the 10K sub finish line, because that was something that I looked up that stat really early on, and the majority of us will not hit 10 subscribers, will quit. So that's kind of my way of going to show like, hey, I didn't quit, I hit the 10K. And I think at that point, I'm going to take it more seriously. I'm going to, start throwing money at it and, invest in a second camera, or, get my, train up my wife so she could, do the second camera, kind of have more of a team thing, and just go take it a little bit more serious and just get into that next stage of content creation. And I think, not to say that I'm not taking it seriously now. I'm trying to. I'm trying to give it a little bit more time and more effort. I'm basically just gauging what people want. If it might be a thing where, an SJ Cooks might not be a channel that should exist. Where it's, I did everything I could, and I'm done with it, and it's time for me to move on. But my main goal is to take those skills and either apply them, or to another channel, or I'm gonna take those skills and make money off of it one way or another. And that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier on about knowing your worth. Because remember, if you're not making money, you are developing skills that you could take somewhere else and make more money. You know, it doesn't have to be on YouTube. So whether that means, going into photography and, shooting photos of people's restaurant menus of the food, all those taco trucks where they have those delicious food on the side of the truck, letting people know, what they make. I could do 100 times better pictures than some of that stuff I've seen, because it's very low quality. The food doesn't look good, but that could be a business venture, So I kind of alluded this to Lance, is I want to create a brand, but that's a little bit bigger than cooking. I want to expand. So I want to create a brand where I'm not restricted to food. But in order to do that, it has to be a generic enough brand where I could take it into something else. And I'm not glued, because it has cooks in my name. I can't go into photography with cooks on it if I want to photograph nice looking cars. You know what I mean? So I do want, that is my goal in the next year or so, is just creating a brand where it's more generic and it's easier for me to hop onto something else if needed. Or, I could use the same brand and keep producing cooking videos. We just don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be ready for that, prepare myself for that jump if necessary. So that's my long-term goal for myself.
So I've got one here for you. So, this is just something that I've heard in the past, and I'm sort of like scratching my head. Is like, is this really a thing? And could it really work? But if you were to take and turn off any type of monetization, and you actually went into a thing where you were uh, having bots join your channel, give you subscribers, give you views, for the sole purpose of picking up more sponsors that would want you to do videos, and you could do. I'm just using you as an example because you do quality videos and quality type stuff. So, as you said earlier, it's like a real live commercial that they're getting. So, so turn off your monetization so YouTube I'm assuming can't come back to you and just say, we're kicking you off. Well, they're not paying you anyway. You're just a channel posting videos.
Yeah.
But if you were to actually, do you think it would be a thing to be able to get enough people that would sponsor you and pay you enough money? Yeah, I got to get pictures of that stuff yet,
Looks
George.
cool. Nice, sharp.
Yeah.
Nice and sharp.
But be enough to get make money from doing that. And even like you just said, what's to say it has to be cooking only?
Yeah.
And make a money from doing commercials.
Yeah, that there's a big market, and I talked to Raul about it, because he's, like I mentioned earlier. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he's a videographer, and we had this long Instagram chat, and I was telling him, like, dude, you got the skills. You better start making money off of those skills. You gotta throw yourself out there. If you have if you like filming food, then you should get really good at it, and then start going up your local restaurants and say, hey, I could make a couple TikTok videos to promote your business. I
Exactly.
mean, they're gonna pay for that because if you're skilled and the price is right, they will hire you. You know what I
Right.
mean? So because that's something that all restaurants, all food trucks do out here in LA. They have a strong social media presence, and I think that's where they get most of their customers from. Is that endless scroll that we do on Instagram and we see, oh crap, this taco looks amazing. Like, where's this at? Oh shit,
Right.
that's like, the next city over. I'm gonna head over there, and that's all because of that video. I would have
Right.
never known to go over to that taco truck, but the fact that their videos are good enough where it caught my attention,
Mhm.
I'm going over there. So there's definitely money to be with the skills you get as a YouTuber. There's way to monetize those skills. So it doesn't even have to be food related. It could, I could pick up one day and say, you know what, I could shoot a decent video. I'm gonna go film weddings. you know who knows, like there's the filming weddings pays really good money, at least in LA.
Mhm.
So it could be that, it could be whatever. I like, maybe I'm really really into cars and I want to photograph cars. There's a lot of nice cars out here in LA who I'm sure the owners would love to have a nice photograph of their ride. Maybe that's what I could tap into. There's just
Yeah.
so many possibilities. So
Right.
so that's my idea, is creating a brand that is I could freely jump around to different things, whatever, who's ever willing to hire me for something, I could go off and make money.
Right.
And if it could be this YouTube thing, it could be, my channel takes off and I'm like, you know what, I love making this, I still love it, it's making me money, I am gonna go on it full time. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I was just curious. You hear that. I
Yeah.
think there's truth to it.
Yeah.
I really do. I think there's truth to it. I mean, as you just said, it's creating a brand
Yeah.
is exactly what it is. I mean, you get and look at the commercials
Yeah.
between in the videos.
Yeah.
You know, for something that replaces your internet. Or generators.
Yeah.
Something like that. Those guys are making money doing that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think the I think where the money is, where I see a lot of it is, and it looks really cool to me, are all these people doing, reviews of equipment, like camera equipment, that, you know, they're getting like free like cameras from these big companies. They're getting free lights and sound equipment and all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa, I wouldn't mind doing that. You know what I mean? But it requires a different skill set at that point, because the people
Right.
that play on that field, their production quality is really really high. Like
Yeah.
if you look at those big channels that do electronic reviews, the quality of their content is very very up there. So it's going to require a different mindset, a different skill set for me to get in that world. But I think the cooking world is also changing. I don't know if you watch up and coming channels, or you look at these sub 100 channels, sub 1000 channels, but they're producing some that are just getting started. They're producing some crazy looking content where it just looks so good, where you're like, whoa, like how are people can compete with that? you know and then but then you have other channels that are huge, that are, they're shooting with their iPhones, and that's completely okay, and then get the views, and they're killing it. They're making good money. But you just have we all have to find our little spot of
Yeah.
where we're gonna succeed. you know
Yeah. I don't know, Raul's referring to this live or
Probably.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But it's been a good live. It's been
we
really,
have
really good
lives a
live.
bit longer than that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
sometimes
I think it's mostly because he's used to my lives. I usually go an hour and I just like leave. Unless
yeah,
it's Ruben, poor Ruben, he told me, "Oh, I'm only gonna be there for an hour," and then like 3 hours later, I'm like
Yeah.
apologizing to him. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, man. I had no
when you're
idea."
all over the place
Yeah,
with different topics and not so redundant on just this
yeah,
barbecue YouTube thing. You know, when you go
yeah,
from welding to trains to cooking
yeah,
to YouTube to bands to remember that old commercial or remember the show Petticoat Junction. I mean, it
yeah,
just keeps it alive, and
yeah,
before you know it, 5 hours is gone.
yeah. I just can't believe we've been talking for 3 hours. It doesn't seem like we've been here for that long, but yeah,
Yeah,
here we
Raul, go
are.
feed your family, bro. Go feed your family.
My wife and
Let's
kids
see.
are hungry. Can I leave the live? Yeah, certainly you can leave the live.
Yeah, absolutely, Ro.
Just give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming here.
Yeah.
Faux show.
Yeah, if I was off tomorrow and I was drinking, you would be here all night partying for sure.
I was waiting for one of you to crack a beer open because I've been waiting patiently here. It's like I guess these guys don't drink, so I'm not
Oh
gonna
no,
pop
I
one
drink.
myself.
Yep, you
No,
just
I
gotta
was
get up
even.
ready
I
for the
thought about.
job.
I said I was going to have some beers this evening.
Yeah,
I went out and cleaned all the lawn up and cut all the grass and
yeah,
cooked a couple rack of ribs and played around
yeah,
with a push mower for a bit. Said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have me some beers.
yeah.
First thing I did was carry this bottle of water I started when I got finished cooking.
Yeah, you should
So,
have cracked that beer, Sal. I would have fucking cracked it.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I wouldn't fucking wait for the host to fucking crack. Charlie, fucking crack
Yeah.
right
Chale,
now,
huh?
bro.
No, it's a good thing we didn't because yesterday me and the wife were drinking margaritas all day, and it was just like, oh man, that the thing about margaritas though is they were strong, but they didn't give me a hangover at all. Like I'm
Yeah.
usually like with beers, I usually feel like shit the next day, but these margaritas were good.
Sorry.
Yeah, I gotta be
Yeah,
aware of the public when I drive. The public is the biggest enemy out there when I drive.
yeah.
Not us, it's the public that doesn't know how to drive.
No, yeah, absolutely. In LA, it's crazy. You have to quickly learn to be a defensive driver out here because there are a lot of people that are just they're gonna drive right into you and you have to
Yep.
avoid them. So just go into it thinking, hey, these people don't know how to drive. They're gonna run into me, so it's up to me to like look out for them and avoid
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that all day. Yeah, I agree with you, MBL. Those little baby beers don't
well, that,
count.
well, that's why you pour
10 ounce.
yourself,
They're 10
get
ounce,
yourself.
not 8 ounce.
That's why you got to get yourself, Lance. You got to get yourself a tumbler, and then just pour yourself two of those beers, and then you have a nice
Okay.
16-ounce beverage at
There
your
you
hand.
go. My nice Kawama.
I have one really nice tumbler. It was the one Wepner sent us for Christmas, and
Yeah,
I just I don't know. I just sooner drink it out of a can.
yeah,
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. Thank you for the chat. The chat's been strong. 25, 20, 18. It's been
Great,
really strong.
that's
Thank you,
great.
guys. Thank you, Sal.
yeah. I appreciate you guys bringing me on, and we're all curious to know who's the next guest. Who do you guys lined up? Who?
We have Russ Jones' Smoky Ribs on May the 5th, and I want
Very
to
cool.
clarify that too. Did we offer Uncle Steve the next after Sal?
I thought it was Tom.
Tom already went.
No. Oh, you're right. You're right. Shit.
Yeah,
You're
Tom
right.
Gardner already went.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Loverboy is usually in charge of that area.
No.
So,
I can't remember. Um, yeah, we can have a after party, Simon. I wouldn't mind drinking a couple beers. Hasn't Russ
there you
been
go,
like
Primo. Party time.
Party time.
Yeah, I believe it was Russ, and I don't
Josh?
know who was after Russ.
We
I
talked
think.
about Uncle Steve, and he said that he would be interested in it. But
Yeah.
all right, Chef. But I can't remember.
And that's not just
Did we just push him out of the way to get Russ in here, or was Steve after Russ? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's
both
just
of them are
from
great. So I just
yeah, I think from what I gathered was that that Uncle Steve was on pretty much on it if I couldn't do it for whatever reason he was gonna go today, and then Russ was like, bring me in whenever. It's not a.
Yeah.
I thought that's what he had said.
Okay.
So
and then
I'll
we
talk
talked about
about.
Egan, Simon. We talked about
yeah,
everybody. Whoever has
Well,
a
we
channel,
talked
basically.
about bringing the chat on the panel. You know,
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
we talked
yeah.
about getting some of these guys that
NBL,
that
Troy.
hiding behind their keyboards. Put a face to it. Ron was cooking and barbecuing.
Yeah. Steven.
We rode him. I shouldn't say we rode him. We just told him that it would be, it'd be so cool if he just showed his face, because it would just be a better video. Personalize it.
Yeah.
Being able who we're talking to, who's the one doing all that cook. And sure enough, he came out behind that camera and started cooking on in the camera, in the view. But he's a channel that, I tell you what, that guy tries hard. He's another one.
Yeah.
He's another Lance. He thinks about being different about things.
Yeah.
He puts a spin on it, and that man's been putting out videos for a couple years, and I don't even think he's broken 400 subs yet. And I just don't understand that one. I don't understand that one as hard as he tries.
It's tough, man. It's everything is just tough. It's eye opening too, right? Because it'll literally teach you that it doesn't matter how much effort you put in it. Sometimes it'll pop off, and then you just have to be patient. That's the best.
Yeah,
It's really the best thing you could tell them, and it sucks because you want them to pop off, because you could see the
right.
quality of what they're giving you, and you want them to succeed, and it sucks when it doesn't. They're
Yeah,
doing it. It looks like they're doing everything right on our end,
yeah, yeah.
but it's just, it's hard. It's hard to crack the code.
Right. Yep.
You know.
Yep. All right, man. Chat again. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you for showing the love, and thanks for being around. Sal, I want to thank you for letting us do the interview for you. I'm really getting into these interviews. I mean, I like the 1 a month thing. I think anything more than that is just too much work.
It is.
And it just, this is just sort of kind of going to Taco Bell now.
That's what I was thinking right now. Going straight to Taco Bell and get a Mexican pizza, bro.
No, those Mexican pizzas are good, man.
Oh, they're bomb, bro. Remember when they took them away?
I don't even remember they were back. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize they were back until I think it was on Al's chat. It's like, oh, they're back on the menu. I'm like, wait, what? They are?
They should bring back the Mexi Melt, because I mean, that was my
Yeah.
favorite right there, the Mexi Melt.
Yeah.
But
All I do at Taco Bell is just that bean burrito. I love that with a ton of sauce. That's my go-to. But that
allá voy
Mexican pizza,
ahorita, rapidísimo.
The pizzas, I love the Mexican pizzas. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great.
And I low key want to try Russ because I think he showed us, right, how to make the Mexican pizza on his channel.
Yeah.
I want to try it out. It looked very complicated, but be cool to try. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You gonna do an after hours? Everybody's asking that.
I don't know. I don't want to do a live one. I'd rather do a private one.
Private.
I don't know.
All right, guys.
You're yawning right now.
Well, Simon and Loverboy will decide if they're gonna go live or not.
Yeah, we'll post something. It would be something on YouTube if we do. I don't know. I'm sort of kind of feeling it. I'm sort of kind of not feeling it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys once again. Sal, gracias, primo.
Gracias.
And everybody have a good night. We'll see you next Sunday. And oh, Loverboy, I need to talk to you about that. I don't know if I'll be available. My birthday's on the 11th. So I'm gonna be throwing a big party.
Okay.
I might jump on live too, show you guys the party, see what's cracking on Saturday, just for a little bit, just say what's up to everybody.
Okay.
I may go live tomorrow during the eclipse, not sure.
Yeah, I'm curious what that's going to be like.
Oh, thank you, brother. I'm gonna hit the big 50. Can you believe that shit? In 4 days, I'll be 50 years old. Okay, got you.
I can't believe you're not older than 50 personally.
Damn, bro. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go live on my birthday party. I'll be all, you know what? Yeah.
All right, man.
Is YouTube invaded? Pues a huevo. You know it is. I'm gonna bring you guys in. All right, guys. You look so young. I haven't got carded. Well, I got carded this year. Let's see if I get carded for my birthday.
That's
I
great.
usually get carded every year, bro. When I buy beer, I always get carded, man.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's that addicted to the Q thing that Kent
Thank you,
is
man.
doing with Uncle Steve right now.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be your sister. You are my sister, MMA. Shit. All right. Talk to you guys later. You guys have a good work week, and you guys all take care.
All right, guys. See ya.
Later.
Of course.